Breakup countdown, the CEO girlfriend's deep regret. After being film queen Xiaoxiao's lover for 4 years, I realized I was just a stand-in for her white Moonlight. Trapped for 4 years, I turned away, but she went crazy begging for reconciliation, pleading for my forgiveness. Chapter 1, I Will Never Love You Again. Mr. Zhao, I'm willing to participate in the classified project. As soon as the call connected, Tansong spoke with a slight tremble in his voice. His face was as pale as the fading morning light, his expression bleak, and his lips carried a hint of a self-deprecating smile. On the other end of the line, excitement surged. Comrade Hua, you previously refused the province's invitation due to personal reasons, but you have always been one of the top talents in the Ministry of National Defense. We've kept this position open for you. Matters of the heart are insignificant, but we also don't want you to have regrets. Are you absolutely certain about this decision? Sensing the concern in his superior's tone, Tansong replied firmly, I have made up my mind. Before, I was lost in a self-constructed dream, trapped in the mire. But now, I've awakened from that dream. I have no more attachments, no more regrets. Rather than burning myself out like a lowly candle in her world, giving all my light and warmth, I'd rather devote myself to a cause more worthy of my life. His gaze unconsciously fell on the largest poster in his bedroom. The woman in the photo wore a white feathered evening gown, standing under the dazzling spotlight, like an angel descended from the heavens. For 4 years, he had exclusively possessed this proud and stunning angel. Xiaoxiao, a top-tier film queen with over 100 million fans online. Hasn't your entire life revolved around just 3 words, Xiaoxiao? A cool voice rang out. Tansong instinctively ended the call and turned toward the bedroom door. Leaning against the brown wooden doorframe was a woman in a flowing gown with a train that cascaded down the stairs like stardust. The daring slit of the dress hinted at a long, graceful leg, exuding an air of dominance. Her jet black hair was pinned up with a white jade hairpin, and pearl earrings dangled from her ears like tiny stars. Tansong's breath caught in his throat. The woman he had loved for 4 years had never truly loved him. He was nothing more than a stand-in for the white Moonlight in her heart song You. Even knowing this painful truth and deciding to walk away, he still found himself captivated the moment he saw her. Tansong first met Xiaoxiao at a hotel banquet. Back then, he had just been admitted to Beijing's National Defense University from a small town. To support himself, he took a job as a hotel server, coincidentally witnessing Xiaoxiao's team negotiating with a renowned director. The moment she saw him, her eyes seemed to light up. He still vividly remembered what she said. Can you drink? I can't handle alcohol. If you finish this bottle for me, from now on, you'll be with me. That was the first time he had ever consumed alcohol. Entranced by those deep yet mesmerizing eyes, he drank without hesitation. He got completely wasted that night and ended up in bed with the nation's top actress. The next morning, as he awoke from the madness, she was already calmly dressing, her gaze indifferent as she looked down on the world. You know who I am. If you stay with me, you'll always live in the shadows. Are you still willing? Tansong nodded. And just like that, he became Xiaoxiao's secret lover for 4 years. From the first moment he fell for her, he believed that one day, he could break through the walls of her heart even if it was just a small corner. Our song, come here. Lost in his thoughts, Tansong snapped back to reality, seeing her beckon him with a delicate, jade-like finger. It was only when he got closer that he realized she had been drinking. I thought you couldn't drink. You have an early shoot tomorrow, why push yourself? I'll make you some hangover tea. Supporting Xiaoxiao, he felt a slight sense of relief. It seemed she hadn't overheard his phone conversation earlier. Xiaoxiao clung to him, her misty eyes unfocused as she gazed at his face. Suddenly, she displayed an unfamiliar shyness, a look he had never seen her wear for him. Our song, today is the day you returned. This is your welcome dinner. How could I not drink? Tansong's fingertips trembled. A searing pain, like 1,000 ants gnawing at his heart, spread from his fingertips to his chest. So she could drink just depending on who it was for. Last Saturday marked their 4th anniversary. For the first time, Xiaoxiao allowed him to attend a private gathering with her team. Throughout the event, she was the center of attention, glasses clinking all around her, yet she never took a single sip. Queen you won an award for Mountains Never Meet. As the lead actress, you have to drink at least a little, don't you? That's right. This is a celebration drink, you can't turn it down. And wow, first time seeing you bring someone along. Since we're all friends here, why not introduce him? He's just an assistant, Xiaoxiao said coolly. What else could he be? Just an assistant. Everyone understood immediately and refrained from pressing further. Instead, they redirected their toasts toward her assistant. Before the night ended, Tansong collapsed from severe stomach pain due to alcohol-induced gastric perforation and was rushed to the hospital. Only 2 interns from Xiaoxiao's team accompanied him. I heard a rumor that this handsome guy is actually Queen Yu's secret lover. But wow, poor thing, he drank himself half to death, and she didn't even call to check on him. You didn't know? Xiaoxiao has been in love with film empress Song Yu since her early acting days. Doesn't this guy look just like him? A stand-in, plain and simple. Exactly. Song Yu was abroad for 4 years. Now that he's back and heard about Xiaoxiao's supposed boyfriend, he got furious. So she finally brought this guy into the public eye and let everyone drink him under the table. Isn't it obvious? She doesn't care about him at all. She was sending a message to Song Yu. How tragic. Lying on the hospital bed, Tansong had woken up, but he didn't dare open his eyes. For years of love, and he was nothing more than a shadow she used to comfort herself. Now that Song Yu was back, she had gotten drunk for him. Before Tansong could react, cool lips suddenly pressed against his own. The faint scent of alcohol, mixed with a refreshing perfume, washed over him like a tidal wave. Why aren't you responding to me? Xiaoxiao whispered in the heat of the moment, unwilling to give up. Are you mad? Mad that I found someone so much like you to replace you. I'm sorry I've missed you so much these past 4 years. He will never be you. Don't be angry, okay? Let me make it up to you. Tansong turned his head away, dodging the kiss that was never meant for him. He will never be you. Yes. A shadow would always be just a shadow trapped in darkness, clinging to whatever warmth and light it could find. But that warmth and light had never belonged to him. It was Song Yu's. Now that the man in her heart had returned, it was time for him to recognize his place. Song Yu, I'm so glad you're back. Xiaoxiao cupped his face tenderly, her lips descending in a chaotic flurry of kisses. Receiving no response, she soon slumped against his trembling body, falling into a deep sleep. That entire night, Tansong lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Song Yu had returned. And he was leaving. Xiaoxiao. She murmured in her sleep. I will never love you again. Chapter 2, the one who confessed over the phone wasn't me. Early the next morning, when Tansong woke up, Xiaoxiao was already dressed and ready to leave. Her gaze lingered on him for only a brief moment, but a faint, delicate smile curled at the corner of her lips. Even such a subtle expression didn't escape Tansong's notice. After being together for 4 years, Xiaoxiao had always been indifferent, cold, and distant toward him. Genuine smiles from her were rare. He could tell that she was in a good mood today. She was dressed in a white 3-piece modern Han-style outfit. Her sleek, jet black hair was neatly pinned up with 2 crossed hairpins, and a dark-colored beaded bracelet adorned her slender wrist, making her look like a serene, untouchable goddess. Back then, it was this aloof and ethereal aura that had completely captivated him. But what exactly was making her so happy? Tansong didn't have time to dwell on it because he suddenly noticed the chilly autumn air outside, yet she wasn't wearing a coat. The coat I bought for you, does it not match today's theme? He had saved up nearly 10,000 yuan from his part-time jobs to buy her an imported trench coat, hoping she would wear it for today's movie promotion event. The faint smile on Xiaoxiao's lips froze, stiffening unnaturally. A flash of impatience crossed her cold, delicate face. She responded indifferently with a simple millimeter before tossing out a curt remark, the matching coat is in my bag, and walking out the door. Tansong lay back down on the bed, an overwhelming sense of desolation washing over him. She hadn't mentioned Song Yu at all. Was she trying to keep it from him? Or was she just waiting for him to leave on his own? Even what had happened last night had been brushed aside effortlessly. In her eyes, he was nothing more than an expired stand-in. Talking to him any further was probably just a waste of effort. After getting up and taking a shower, Tansong returned to the bedroom to find his phone vibrating violently. It was Xiaoxiao calling. The gifts I prepared for the event are in the wardrobe's suitcase. Take them to the Milligram Media Building. My staff will meet you at the entrance. Okay. The moment he responded, the call was already disconnected. Running his fingers through his damp black hair, he casually slicked it back and headed for the wardrobe. It didn't take long for him to locate the suitcase containing the gifts. However, his gaze was drawn to another box. Inside, a brown trench coat still bearing its price tag was folded neatly rather than hanging with the rest of her clothes. Though unworn, it was already creased. Also sealed away in that box were all the gifts he had given her over the years. A signed pen, an instant camera, an art book, a ring, even the handwritten notes he had attached to them remained untouched, as if they had never been read. He could still recall the way she had accepted his gifts, her indifferent expression and casual remark. "If I use these, people find out I'm keeping someone hidden away." Hua Tansong took a deep breath, running his fingertips over the gifts before closing the wardrobe door, locking away both those objects and the feelings that were never meant to see the light. As he stepped out, he instinctively put on a mask and a baseball cap. Although Xiaoxiao's residence had top-tier security, making it impossible for paparazzi or obsessive fans to sneak in, he remained cautious. He didn't want to cause her any trouble. Upon arriving at the Milligram Media building, he was quickly met by a staff member. "Oh, you must be Xiaoxiao's assistant. Help me carry these inside, hurry, we're running late." Before he could respond, the staff member had already slung an event badge around his neck. Outside the building, a large crowd was held back by security, preventing fans from getting too close. Inside, the place was just as packed. Thanks to his height, Hua Tansong managed to keep up with the staff while carrying the heavy suitcase. "All right, hand it over. You're good to go now." Just as he stepped out of the props room, he was suddenly shoved aside by a group of photographers carrying lighting equipment. The sheer number of people caused him to be swept forward along with them. "Here, take this. Your job is to hold the light for you." Xiaoxiao got it. A crew member glanced at his badge and shoved a lighting panel into his hands before he could even react. Hua Tansong hesitated for a moment but chose not to explain. He had never watched her work up close before. Since he was already here, and since he was about to leave her life soon, he might as well indulge himself just this once. Following the crew into the main event area, he lifted his head and there she was. Xiaoxiao stood under the spotlight, poised and elegant. Compared to the other rising actresses at the event, her presence was on an entirely different level. Several dedicated cameras were trained on her, capturing every move. But what caught Hua Tansong's attention the most was the vibrant rose-red jacket she wore. It bloomed against her body like a striking rose in full bloom. He was stunned. Xiaoxiao never wore colors this bold. Even more puzzling was the fact that this jacket clashed completely with her refined hand-style outfit. "Sheesh, the bigger the celebrity, the harder they are to figure out," a staff member grumbled. She refused to wear the outfit the organizers provided and insisted on this rose-red jacket. "It doesn't even match her hand-style look." "Yeah, now we have to adjust the lighting setup just for her. She's got that cool pale complexion, so we need extra lighting to make sure she looks flawless on camera." "Quit complaining. I heard that jacket was a gift from Song Yu." "For real? Damn, talk about public displays of affection." Hua Tansong tightened his grip on the lighting panel, letting out a quiet, self-deprecating chuckle. So the coat she had in her bag was from Song Yu. No wonder she wore it even though it didn't match her outfit at all. Meanwhile, the coat he had carefully chosen for her lay at the bottom of her wardrobe, buried in darkness, never to be seen. "Xiaoxiao, it's time for a live phone call. You can call a former co-star or someone really important to you and confess your feelings. But you can't tell them it's part of the event until they figure it out themselves." The host grinned mischievously as the crowd erupted into excited chatter. Hiding beneath his baseball cap, Hua Tansong stared intently at her, his heartbeat pounding in his chest. A sudden unease gripped him. Almost instinctively, he reached for his phone, ready to switch it off. Xiaoxiao had always refused to be linked with anyone in the industry. In past events like this, she had always called him, using him as a convenient excuse to brush things off. But now, he was standing right there, only a few steps away from her. Yet she hadn't noticed him at all, let alone recognized him. What if? "Hey, Xiaoxiao. Why are you calling me at this hour?" A familiar voice came through Xiaoxiao's phone. Hua Tansong froze. Slowly, he withdrew his hand from his pocket. She hadn't called him. She had called Song Yu. "Oh my god, is that really Song Yu?" My favorite celebrity couple is real. Wait, is Yu Xiaoxiao known for never engaging in fake relationships? Is she actually going public with this? Oh, I'm so jealous. The room buzzed with excitement, but Watansong stood there like an outsider, completely disconnected from the euphoria. His fingers tightened around the lighting panel, his knuckles turning white as he watched Yu Xiaoxiao's cool, composed face soften into a warm smile. Then, with infinite tenderness, she spoke into the phone. A song, I like you. Chapter 3. She will come to pick me up. At this moment, Watansong couldn't move at all. In the lively atmosphere, he was as cold as an ice sculpture. He knew that this was definitely not a prank. This is what Yu Xiaoxiao wanted to say to Song Yu from the bottom of her heart. As soon as Song Yu returned to China, he received the confession he had been waiting for 4 years. At this moment, the man's deep and serious voice came through the microphone and was amplified several times. Xiaoxiao, I like you too. Watansong's gaze followed Yu Xiaoxiao's cold white face. What he saw were her peach blossom eyes that were curved like crescent moons with joy, her red lips that were trembling with excitement, and her almost audible heartbeat. It turns out that the movie queen, who is always known for being aloof and arrogant, has this side to her. He had never seen it. A song, are you telling the truth? Yu Xiaoxiao did not notice a dark and lost gaze in the crowd. All her attention was on the person on the other end of the phone, and she couldn't help but ask. Her questioning, her impatience, and her excitement destroyed Watansong's last bit of hope. The light in his hand fell like a shattered heart in his chest, hitting the ground and shattering into pieces. No one expected that the staff would make such a low-level mistake. Yu Xiaoxiao reacted quickly and took a step back to avoid being hit by the light. The next second, Watansong's eyes collided with Yu Xiaoxiao's in the air. Yu Xiaoxiao's peach blossom eyes suddenly widened, and her slender fingers bent unconsciously. She wanted to ask him why he was here, but the situation at the scene did not allow her to ask. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Watansong said solemnly, bending his straight waist to pick up the broken lamp, but his hands were shaking and his heart was aching, so he couldn't pick up the fragments. He was so careless that he cut several holes in the toilet paper and blood was dripping. Even without looking up, he could feel Yu Xiaoxiao's irritability and gaze. Should I blame him for sneaking into her workplace, or blame him for overestimating his own abilities and trying to spy on her love for Song Yu? Just when the oolong incident and the sudden two-way confession of love between the best actress and the best actor had left everyone at the scene confused, a voice came from the other end of the phone again. Xiaoxiao? Are you okay over there? It's not another prank show, is it? I guessed you were at the event. Who wouldn't like our youngest movie queen? Song Yu said in a bright and gentle voice, I'm here to wish Xiaoxiao's Mountains and Rivers Never Meet a big box office success. Come on. Watansong clearly saw that Yu Xiaoxiao's smile froze on her cheek in an instant, leaving only overwhelming surprise and dissatisfaction. She had never lost her composure in front of the media, but because of Song Yu's explanation, she lost control. Seeing that the situation was not good, the organizer quickly made a few excuses, hung up the phone, and arranged a process. People outside the industry may not know, but people in the industry have heard of it. Everyone knows that Yu Xiaoxiao entered the entertainment industry for Song Yu. How could anyone not know that he is the movie queen's favorite, the white Moonlight? The next step is to walk along the flower path. I hope our actress Yu can take more photos with the staff along the path and give them the small gifts you carefully prepared. The organizer quickly gave instructions. Fortunately, Yu Xiaoxiao is a talented actress. Even though she lost control, she quickly calmed down, put on a smile, and walked towards the flower path. The first one should be this gentleman. He just broke the light, so he must be very sad. Let's have a close chat with the actress. The most important thing about a building sweep is the popularity of hot searches. A sudden oolong incident may not be a bad thing. Before Watansong could react, he was pushed in. Countless lights and cameras were aimed at him. Even though he was wearing a mask, he subconsciously covered his face with his hands. Are you afraid that I will eat you? Yu Xiaoxiao was displeased. Watansong said nothing, just smiled bitterly. He is not afraid, but he is allergic to pollen. The entire flower path was paved with fresh flowers, and there were even crystal clear dewdrops on them. He had originally planned to take the opportunity to sneak away, but who would have thought that he would be pushed in? In the past 4 years, Yu Xiaoxiao would not send him flowers, and did not want to receive flowers from him. As time went by, she naturally did not know that he was allergic to pollen. Never mind, it probably will only take a minute, and there are so many people queuing behind me. Thinking of this, Hua Tansong compromised. Oh, looking at this handsome boy, he is really tall, with broad shoulders and a narrow waist. He is also very gentle in every move. Can he act out a classic scene from a movie with the actress? Yes, it's rare to find a man 188 centimeters tall. Just satisfy our fantasy. Hua Tansong frowned in displeasure because he found that Xiaoxiao did not refuse for the first time. But the classic scene in the movie is when the hero and heroine express their true feelings to each other when they part. Even if it was fake, he didn't dare to expose his love, which he had been cautiously keeping hidden for 4 years, to everyone. His deep, ink-like eyes flickered with embarrassment. But Xiaoxiao found something through the black mask and the vague outline. Song, I don't regret taking the wrong bus or missing the bus. What I regret is not being able to reach the destination. Hua Tansong's heart paused. Xiaoxiao stood on tiptoe and he bent down instinctively. She held his cheek, as if unwillingly, as if reluctantly. Will you wait for me at the finish line, Song? So sweet. The last sentence wasn't a line from the script, it was something the actress herself said. Oh my god, even though Song is the name of the male lead in the movie, it also seems to be the abbreviation of the movie Emperor Song Yu. I got it for some reason. Hua Tansong choked and didn't say anything, his body leaning towards Xiaoxiao weakly. I'm allergic to pollen, and I feel a little uncomfortable. Hua Tansong spoke only in a voice that the two of them could hear. Xiaoxiao reacted quickly, stuffed her lounge door card into his pocket, and whispered, Go and rest first, I'll be done soon and take you to the hospital. Hua Tansong gripped the door card tightly, then lowered his head and squeezed out of the crowd. A moment later, he was lying on the sofa in Xiaoxiao's exclusive lounge, panting tiredly. Was there any worry in her words just now? I guess I was worrying too much. I clearly thought he was Song Yu. I guess he hasn't come out of the play yet, so he looked worried. Last night was not warm, and coupled with the symptoms of pollen allergy, Hua Tansong fell asleep while lying there. Oh my god. It's you? You must have stolen the movie Queen's door card and sneaked into the lounge. Damn you, you a legitimate fan, sleeping here in such a big way. Get out of here right now. Hua Tansong was pulled directly from the sofa to the floor. When he opened his sleepy eyes, he saw several staff members standing in front of him angrily. Yes. Xiaoxiao asked me to wait for her here. She will come to pick me up after the event. Chapter 4 Becoming Hua Tansong. You are kidding me. The event is over. Just now, Mr. Song Yu came to pick up Ms. Yu after get off work. They both left the building long ago. Don't you even think before you lie. I thought you were tall, handsome, and elegant, but I didn't expect you to be so wretched. You are indeed far inferior to Mr. Movie King Song Yu. You dare to sneak in. Wait and see how we teach you a lesson. Several staff members were exhausted and were about to go home after get off work when they ran into the actress's stalker fan. They were very angry. He immediately summoned the security guards in the building, holding plastic sticks in their hands. Hua Tansong frowned. He was a national defense student and was tall, so it was not easy to subdue him. But he was allergic and weak, and coupled with poor rest, his limbs were so weak that he didn't even have a chance to resist. After a while, his hands and feet were tied up with ropes. This is a society ruled by law. We won't do anything to you. However, we will punish you for overestimating your abilities and wanting to be the best actress. The staff threw all the withered flowers that they had cleaned up after the event onto Hua Tansong's face. Hua Tansong coughed violently a few times and struggled uncomfortably. I'm allergic to pollen. My phone is in my pocket. You can call Xiaoxiao and she will explain. He didn't want to reveal this relationship, but if he let it go, someone might really die. Several staff members looked at each other, half believing and half doubting, and took out their phones from Hua Tansong's pockets. After seeing the words, Sister Yu, on it, they sneered, Sister, what a dream man. I'll call him and check it out. Beep beep beep. He made 3 or 4 calls in a row. The first time he called, no one answered. The last time he called, the call was hung up. Hua Tansong's face became paler and paler. The pain in his heart was more intense and suffocating than the pain in his body. She wouldn't answer it, because she was with Song Yu now, and everyone except him was redundant. Sure enough, you lied to us. The best actress is now on a sweet date with the best actor. Even if you are really your good sister, you are too busy to be with her now. Besides, who do you think you are? Since he refuses to change his bad habits, let him learn a lesson. There was a sly gleam in the eyes of several people. They used fluorescent markers to draw all kinds of humiliating words on Hwatansung's clothes, as if they were venting their unhappiness and humiliation after a hard day's work. All right, just bully me as much as you want, close the building and go home, I'm exhausted. When Hwatansung clenched his teeth and held on, someone said something. Then he was thrown outside by the security guards. He clutched the phone in a panic and called Xiaoxiao, but the response was still the cold machine voice. Seeing that the battery was running low, Hwatansung desperately went to the nearest pharmacy to buy some allergy medicine. The boss looked at the man who looked like a walking corpse and couldn't help but stepped forward to ask, "Young man, are you okay?" Hwatansung did not respond. He took a taxi home after leaving the pharmacy. After taking a shower and applying medicine, he crawled into bed and slept for a day and a night. Since that day, Xiaoxiao never came back, as if she had lost contact. Later, she joined the crew directly and became even busier. Hwatansung intended to talk to her about ending the relationship, but he couldn't find an opportunity. News also came from the provincial party committee. Comrade Hua, the national defense security system you researched before has been adopted here. We will send someone to hand over the work to you and take you to the provincial department to help deal with the security system there. When the work is finished, you can come back with our people. How about that? Instructor Zhao suggested. Hwatansung frowned. He had already been secretly packing his luggage, thinking that he would report to Kyoto in a short time. I didn't expect that I would be delayed by other tasks. But since he is committed to the country's cause, it is his duty to contribute to the organization, and he is not a picky person. Okay, but your people are. You'll know when the time comes. Oh my, I really don't know what the scene will be like when you meet. That guy's mouth is like spitting poison, tsk. Hwatansung couldn't help laughing, but it seemed like something commonplace. When he was in school, several strong male classmates in the class were like this, very tough. I'm afraid that people as dull as him are rare in the Ministry of National Defense. After hanging up the phone, Hwatansung's eyes fell on the calendar on the table. Tomorrow is the anniversary of my parents' death. Xiaoxiao once promised him that no matter how busy she was in the future, even if she joined a crew, she would make time on this day to accompany him to visit his parents. He is not a pretentious person, but he doesn't want his parents to see him still alone at such an old age. I am willing to go with Xiaoxiao every time, but this time. Hwatansung opened the address book which he hadn't opened for a long time and clicked on the 3 words, Sister Yu. The call was made immediately. Unlike usual, this time the call was connected in just a few seconds. Tomorrow Yu. Hwatansung's heart tightened, and he spoke in a somewhat dry voice. Xiaoxiao, will we always be together? Of course, there will never be a third party in our love. Our love will continue to be passionate. I will love you in this life and the next. The conversation between Song Yu and Xiaoxiao was heard, and Hwatansung pressed the hang-up button weakly. For years of wishful thinking were now bloodily revealed and laid before him. Even though he was ready to leave Xiaoxiao, he still found it hard to accept it in his heart. It was hard to accept that 4 years of love was a complete joke in her eyes. And he, who had loved her for 4 years, was finally nailed to the pillar of shame as a third party. The next morning, Hwatansung drove an ordinary car from Xiaoxiao's garage and left the urban area of Shanghu City, heading straight for the deep mountains in the suburbs. When he arrived at the destination, he placed the prepared offerings in front of the tombstone, bent down and wiped the rain water on the tombstone and the weeds in front of the tomb. Mom, Dad, you will forgive me, I am tired after so many years, I am not interested in being someone else, I just want to be myself, Hwatansung. I have decided to join the national defense and contribute to the country. I will visit my parents when I come back. Hwatansung chuckled. The burden on him seemed to be much lighter at this moment. After sitting quietly in front of the tomb for several hours, Hwatansung drove back, but he did not expect the weather to change so quickly. In a short while, it was covered with dark clouds and rained continuously. The mountain road along the way made a rumbling sound like drums and thunder. At the same time, in the group, Xiaoxiao quickly packed up her things and arranged for her assistant with a cold face, drive to the suburbs now. Sister Yu, it's going to rain heavily soon, and we still have work to do. Stop talking nonsense and drive. Yu Xiaoxiao looked up at the sky, her heart inexplicably gripped. The assistant was puzzled but had to do as he was told. However, before he could even take a step, he saw the news on his phone. Chapter 5, True Despair and Death. Sister Yu, it's bad. Actor Song's plane crashed. The actor has been sent to the hospital. Yu Xiaoxiao's body froze, and she paused for a few seconds, with an expression of worry on her face. Then she got into the car resolutely. Let's go to the hospital. The suburbs. Don't worry about it, let's go to the hospital first. The assistant understood immediately and drove to the hospital. At this time, Huatansong's car was forced to stop halfway up the mountain due to a landslide. He could neither retreat nor advance, the rain was getting heavier, and he hurriedly took out his cell phone to call Yu Xiaoxiao, hoping she could find someone to pick him up. The call went through, but before he could even start talking, he was interrupted by an impatient voice on the other end. Don't call if you have nothing to do. If you have anything to say, call my agent. Before I could finish my words, the other party quickly hung up the phone. In the past 4 years, Yu Xiaoxiao always hung up the phone impatiently without any hesitation. Huatansong had long been accustomed to it, especially after knowing clearly that Yu Xiaoxiao liked Song Yu and had never liked him. Even if he felt wronged and heartbroken, he could only swallow his anger. She is always filming and attending events, and she is really busy. Maybe right now, they are busy reading the script with great anxiety. Huatansong had no choice but to listen to Yu Xiaoxiao and call his agent. The agent looked at the heavy rain outside and cursed in his heart, saying that only a fool would run to the suburbs. Not only was it dangerous, but it was also extremely troublesome. There are many different opinions about the relationship between the two people among those who know something about it. But only the agent knows everything. The agent knew Yu Xiaoxiao's attitude towards Huatansong and didn't care about his existence. How could he deserve to be treated like this? It's good enough. Even the best actress doesn't even look at him straight in the eye. He's just a stand-in. Now that the best actor is back, who knows, he'll kick him out sooner or later. It's raining too hard. We can't go. You have to figure out a way. Huatansong looked at the hung-up phone and felt extremely sad. For 4 years, no one took him seriously. Now he is trapped in the mountains and no one can help him. Young man, you can't make it. I'll give you a ride, but only into the city. Once you're in the city, you can just take a taxi yourself. A faint light shone over, and a tricycle stopped in front of Huatansong. The small bucket in front of it could only seat one person, barely enough to shelter from the wind and rain. The back of the truck was making a crackling sound due to the heavy rain, and several centimeters of rainwater had accumulated inside. Okay, thank you, uncle. Huatansong gritted his teeth and made up his mind. After all, there were no cars passing within hundreds of miles. This section of the road was blocked and cars could not pass. Only tricycles could barely pass. There is only this one way. Sitting in the bumpy bed of the car, Huatansong held tightly onto the edge of the car frame with his big hands, his knuckles turning white. The cold rain beat down on his body wantonly. The dark sky and the dripping rain all told of his embarrassment and makeup exam. For a whole hour, he thought a century had passed. The uncle dropped him off in the city and rode his tricycle back home. Huatansong's body shrank and he was shivering. He wanted to take a taxi back, but found that his phone was out of battery. It was too late and most of the shops were closed, so he couldn't find a place to charge it. In the end, he walked for half an hour before he met a kind-hearted person and took a ride home safely. As expected, I caught a severe cold that day and had a fever of 39 degrees Celsius. I didn't even have the strength to lift my hands or feet. But the empty room only made his uncomfortable body feel more lonely. He choked with pain and even wanted to call Yu Xiaoxiao. But the words, "Don't call if there is nothing wrong, call your agent if there is something wrong," echoed in his mind, so he held back. When he was about to faint, he seemed to see Yu Xiaoxiao's figure. When he woke up again, he was already in the hospital. He was seen by a cleaning lady who came to the villa and immediately called an ambulance to send him to the hospital. Huatansong looked at the golden apricot leaves outside the window, falling one by one, and coughed sadly. The nurse at the side quickly covered him tightly with the quilt and said, "Sleep a little longer. You are very weak. Fortunately, you were sent to the hospital in time, otherwise you would have developed pneumonia." How pitiful, handsome boy, are you alone? Why didn't you call? Watansong smiled and said nothing. The little nurse blushed at the handsome and gentle face and couldn't help but be a little surprised. Hey, you look a bit like that famous movie star Song Yu. Speaking of Song Yu, he is also in our hospital. There was a plane crash a few days ago, and he was in a minor car accident and missed the plane. He was lucky to survive. Guess what? The internet famous actress Xiaoxiao has been taking care of him for days and nights. They even got experts from the hospital to treat Song Yu. I thought their relationship was fake, but it seems to be real. The queen must be madly in love with the actor. The young nurse said a lot of things in a rush, and when she looked up again, she found that Watansong had buried his head in the quilt. It seems that he doesn't want to listen to gossip. Okay, I won't bother you anymore. Don't cover yourself and get some fresh air. The young nurse gave some instructions and left the ward. Watansong stuck his head out, his deep eyes were bloodshot and his eye sockets were wet. He was about to shed tears of sadness, but before they could fall, he forced them back. As if by magic, he dragged his weak body out of bed and found Song Yu's ward. Looking inside through the glass window, Yu Xiaoxiao was sitting on a chair peeling an apple for Song Yu, with a bright smile on her lips as bright as the sunshine. The two talked and laughed, patting each other gently from time to time, and the love in their eyes almost overflowed from their eyes. Watansong looked at the person he had loved for 4 years and smiled bitterly. So you're so happy to leave me? That's good. I'm leaving now, and you're free now. You don't have to hide anymore. Just have a passionate, open love with him. Watansong slowly returned to the ward. The moment he entered the room, Yu Xiaoxiao just came out of the ward. When I saw that familiar figure, my heart began to tense up. It seems like Watansong. Why is he in the hospital? Is he injured? Impossible. If Watansong was injured, how could he bear not to call her? He always liked to use various methods to get her attention and make her happy. Thinking of this, Yu Xiaoxiao gave up the idea and went to the water room to get water for Song Yu. Watansong was discharged from the hospital alone, and when he returned to his familiar home, he felt lost. I spent several hours writing documents in front of the computer before I made my decision, then went to the study to print them out. The contract ending the 4-year underground relationship with Yu Xiaoxiao had Watansong's name signed on it. He found a good place and put the contract on the table in front of the rocking chair where Yu Xiaoxiao often sat when reading scripts. She could see it as long as she went home. 4 years, let's end it. Chapter 6: Moving out of the villa. He didn't dare to look at the contract to terminate the relationship for fear that he would regret it. Watansong changed into a set of casual sportswear and left the villa, running non-stop on the outskirts of the villa area. From the initial slow trot to the final gallop. Perhaps only in this way can he ease the pain in his heart. When he returned to the villa, panting and sweating, he noticed that the contract on the table was gone, and he was delighted. Yu Xiaoxiao is back? Thinking of the contents of his contract, his eyes darkened and he knocked on the bedroom door. No one agreed. He hesitated slightly, turned the bedroom doorknob, heard the sound of running water in the bathroom, and sat silently in front of the bed, waiting for Yu Xiaoxiao to come out. Half an hour later, the bathroom door was opened. Yu Xiaoxiao was wearing a bathrobe. She noticed Watansong, who was sweating profusely in front of the bed, and frowned slightly. You're so dirty after running. Who allowed you to sit on the bed? Watansong stood up subconsciously and looked at Yu Xiaoxiao, who had bare shoulders and skin as white as Angelica, in front of him. There is grace and beauty in her every move. This was a fact he had known 4 years ago. At that time, Yu Xiaoxiao was a proud and cold rose. He never dared to imagine that this rose could belong to him, but he owned this rose for a short period of 4 years. 4 years had passed, and he clearly realized that this rose did not belong to him. But other people's lilies. Yu Xiaoxiao completely ignored his gaze, sat in front of the dressing table, and glanced at him sideways. What are you standing there for? Watansong came back to his senses and took small steps towards her. He picked up the hairdryer beside him and skillfully blew her wet hair. He looked at Yu Xiaoxiao in the mirror in front of him. Her skin was as white as cream, her lips were red and her teeth were white. Every time he looked at her, his heart beat fast. When Watansong lowered his gaze, he saw her holding the phone, caring about Song Yu. I just finished taking a shower and will be back soon. You have to wait for me. I will help you get discharged from a hospital. Looking at the 2 lines of words she sent, and the playful and cute "I love you" emoticon at the end, Hwatansong paused. This brief pause made Xiaoxiao raise her head slightly in dissatisfaction. "What are you doing?" Hwatansong blinked and came back to his senses again. "Sorry, I..." She waved her hands impatiently. "Hurry up, I have to go out later." Hwatansong kept moving his hands, watching her chatting with Song Yu, and wanted to ask a question. "Have you read the contract on the table? Have you signed it?" After drying her hair, Yu Xiaoxiao stood up and changed her clothes in front of him without any hesitation. He subconsciously turned his head away, his face slightly red. For years have made them familiar with each other and less cautious. But it was precisely because of her carefree attitude that made him even more heartbroken. Let him understand clearly that there has never been a place for him in Yu Xiaoxiao's heart from the beginning to the end. Thinking of this, Hwatansong took a deep breath, turned around to look at her who had changed her clothes, and mustered up his courage. The one on the table. That's right." Yu Xiaoxiao looked up at him and said, "You move out of this villa tomorrow." Hwatansong's body froze. Looking at her indifferent attitude, he understood at this moment. Perhaps she had already seen the contract. He even showed disdain for the words he spent several hours writing. After all, Song Yu is back now. In her mind, he was nothing more than trash that could be discarded at will. Hwatansong lowered his head silently, hiding the sadness in his eyes. When he raised his head again, there was calmness in his eyes. "Are we moving tomorrow? Can you give me a few days? I haven't found a house yet." From school to graduation, he has been living in Yu Xiaoxiao's house. No one to rely on and no source of income. Now that he proposed to end the relationship, he was kicked out of the house by her, which undoubtedly brought him a huge blow. But he doesn't complain. Now that you have decided to leave, you must separate completely and eliminate any hidden dangers. However, he has not officially started work yet and is embarrassed to ask for an advance on his salary. He wondered if he could beg Yu Xiaoxiao to let him stay in the villa for a month. A month later, after receiving his salary, he moved out. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned unhappily. No time. Hwatansong wanted to say something else, but heard her speak again. "Song Yu will move in tomorrow." Hwatansong's eyes were dull, his clenched hands were trembling slightly, and he tried hard to restrain himself from revealing any flaws. You too." When Song Yu was mentioned, there was a hint of joy on Yu Xiaoxiao's face, a shyness he had never seen before. "Our Song is going to move in with me for a month, and we are going to film a dating variety show." "Love variety show." Looking at her longing and joyful expression, he couldn't help but think of the time when a program crew seemed to want to invite her to participate in an outdoor variety show. What did she say at that time? She sat in the office chair, crossed her legs, and looked disdainful. "Variety show. This kind of variety show will only waste my popularity and exploit my value. I will never appear on any variety show in my life." Her firmness at the time made Hwatansong believe that he would never appear in any variety shows again in his life and would only focus on his acting career. However, in less than half a month after Song Yu came back, she had already decided to participate in a childish show like a dating show with him. "Are you going to record your dating show in this villa?" Hwatansong asked in a hoarse voice. Yu Xiaoxiao nodded indifferently. "This villa has everything I own. It's a good opportunity for our Song to understand my preferences. This is the fastest way for both parties to develop feelings for each other." Hwatansong watched her talk about Song Yu in front of him without any hesitation, and thought that she had completely abandoned him. Yes, he was the one who took the initiative to end the relationship. It's impossible that even if the other party agrees, he still insists on staying in someone else's house and refuses to leave, right? It's just this villa that carries their 4 years of love. Every item in the villa was purchased and selected by him with great care. Now, all of this is thanks to another man. He was somewhat unwilling. But what if I'm unwilling? He is just a substitute who is dispensable and can be discarded at will. Now that things have come to this, there is nothing worth him clinging to. I understand. I'll pack up tonight. Yu Xiaoxiao didn't even give him a glance. She carefully took out the washed windbreaker and put it on again. Hwatansong stood silently by the side, watching him take so much care of the clothes, as if they were a rare treasure. Looking at Yu Xiaoxiao's back as she turned away without any reluctance, he withdrew his gaze. He took out the suitcase he brought with him when he graduated and began to pack his things silently. "Hwatansong, let go." She doesn't belong to you. Chapter 7 We Won't Meet Again. Hospital. Xiaoxiao came to the ward in a hurry, holding the discharge report. Song, I have already arranged for you to be discharged from a hospital. We can leave now. Song Yu buttoned up his coat slowly and looked at her tenderly. Thank you, Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao couldn't hide the smile on her face. There's no need to be so polite between us. She stepped forward and looked at the man she had been thinking about day and night. Will you come to my place tonight? Song Yu's eyes darkened, and a flash of displeasure passed through his eyes, but Xiaoxiao still caught it. It's okay, if you don't want to go, that's fine. No. Song Yu shook his head lightly, you live with him now. If I go, it will be inconvenient, right? Xiaoxiao was stunned for a moment, but soon realized who the Song Yu was talking about was. I have asked him to move out of the villa. Xiaoxiao didn't know what she was thinking of, and touched her pocket. I forgot to give him the key. He should still be in the villa now. She raised her head in embarrassment, her face blushing. I'm sorry, Song, I didn't handle these things well. Song Yu raised his hand and gently touched the top of her head. It's okay. You've been taking care of me so hard lately. It's inevitable that you'll make some small mistakes. I'll go back with you and help you explain it to him. Xiaoxiao thought that there was no need to explain, he was just an insignificant person. But she was afraid that saying such words would ruin the good impression Song Yu had of her, so she just nodded obediently. Inside the villa. Tan packed his luggage and looked around the villa with a sense of loss. He has stayed in this villa for 4 years and he knows exactly where all the things are. But now, he had to leave the place that he thought was his eternal harbor. Tan lowered his head, looked at the stack of documents in his hand, and placed them on the coffee table. Here, he recorded the locations of various items in the villa. Looking at the catalogue, it was clear what Xiaoxiao needed. Even if you can't see the text clearly, he has provided pictures below so that people can clearly know what is placed where. This afternoon, apart from packing his meager luggage, he was busy sorting out these things. I just don't know if Xiaoxiao will remember his kindness. Tan stood at the bedroom door, looking at the bed where he and Xiaoxiao had slept for 4 years. He silently closed the bedroom door, turned around and left. As soon as he went downstairs, the sound of an engine came from the gate of the villa, which made Tan pause slightly, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation in his heart. Is she back? Are you here to see him off? Tan stood still, staring at the door. 2 minutes later, the door was slowly pushed open, and a familiar face appeared. His face lit up with joy, and his steps became lighter without him even noticing. He took 2 steps at a time and came in front of Xiaoxiao. You're back. Are you here too? This is for you. Tan looked at the key handed to him, a little puzzled. What is this? Xiaoxiao frowned impatiently. She was about to say something, but then she realized something and spoke as gently as possible. It's the key to Xinhuan apartment. You'll be living there from now on. Tan stared at the key in a daze. It turned out that he was not there to see him off, but to give him the key. Are you afraid that he will become homeless if he leaves the villa? You still think I have no place to live? Xiaoxiao sighed. You have been with me for 4 years. If you go out and sleep on the street, it will be a loss of face for me. Oh, so that's how it is. She really can't lie at all, so she tricked him. But then again, Xiaoxiao is Xiaoxiao. If she was someone who could lie to him and make him happy, she wouldn't let him leave the villa immediately just because the white moonlight in his mind came back. Tan suppressed the joy in his heart and silently took the key. Thank you. Once I start working and earn some money, I will move out immediately. I won't occupy your house for too long. Xiaoxiao raised her eyes and looked at his face, which was extremely similar to Song Yu's. When I thought about him going out to work with this face, I felt a little uncomfortable. There's a lot of money in the card I gave you. You don't need to go out to work. I will deposit money into it on time every month, enough for you to live on. Tan lowered his eyes and did not answer her. From the very beginning, when he decided to be Xiaoxiao's underground lover, Xiaoxiao gave him a secondary card on which he could spend any amount he wanted. But he never used that secondary card. Even when he went out to buy things, he used the money he earned from his part-time job. I don't know if it was because of his actions that angered Xiaoxiao, but she asked for the secondary card back during that period of time, which made him quite sad. He thought that he no longer had any status in Xiaoxiao's heart, but after a while, Yu Xiaoxiao gave him a separate card again. And she told him that 1 million would be deposited into the fund every month and he could spend it as he pleased and he didn't need to care about her opinion. It was then that Watansong realized that Yu Xiaoxiao had asked for the secondary card back because she had misunderstood that he wanted to save face and didn't like the feeling of being monitored. But even though he later had that separate card, he never used a penny of the money in it. He stayed in the villa every day and had no expenses. Over the past 4 years, he didn't know how much had been deposited into that card, but he didn't have the energy to check. Watansong turned his head slightly and glanced at the information on the coffee table. The card is on it. It contains the notes I made for you. He raised his eyes to look at Yu Xiaoxiao, his eyes filled with reluctance. From now on, we will not meet again, you have to take care of yourself. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned slightly and was about to say something when she heard a familiar voice behind her. Why don't you go in? What are you doing at the door? Watansong raised his head and looked at Song Yu, who was walking slowly behind Yu Xiaoxiao. He was wearing a grey tweed coat, loose wide leg pants, and a beige sweatshirt. As he looked over, he smiled at him in the same way. At that moment, Watansong vaguely saw his own figure in his face. This was his first real meeting with Song Yu. Song Yu walked up to Yu Xiaoxiao, gently put his arm around her and brought her into their house, then looked at Watansong, who was standing there. Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Song Yu. Looking at the bony hands in front of him, and then seeing that his hands were wrinkled from doing housework non-stop for the past 4 years, and trying every way to make desserts for Yu Xiaoxiao to make her happy, he did not look like a young man at all. At this moment, a sense of inferiority arose in his heart. No wonder he is the white moonlight in Yu Xiaoxiao's mind. He is noble and reserved from head to toe, which is exactly the look Yu Xiaoxiao likes. And he, like the sun setting in the west, has long lost his original vitality. Chapter 8: Paparazzi Squatting. Watansong stood there unmoved, and did not react at all to the hand extended by Song Yu, which made Yu Xiaoxiao feel a little dissatisfied. She walked forward and gently pushed Watansong's arm. Song is talking to you, what's your attitude? Is this what I taught you? Watansong came back to his senses, looked at the dissatisfaction in her eyes, and stretched out his hand. Hello, my name is Watansong. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned and muttered, you really have no manners at all. She turned her head and looked at Song Yu with a smile on her face. Song, don't bother with him. Won't. Watansong looked at him defending Song Yu and felt a sharp pain in his heart. He pursed his lips, cleared his throat and said, well, I won't bother you anymore and will leave first. Yu Xiaoxiao ignored him, but took Song Yu's arm affectionately and introduced the layout of the villa to him. Watansong looked deeply at Yu Xiaoxiao's back and left the villa silently. From now on, he will never step into this villa again. Now that I have chosen to let go, I will not look back and linger, letting myself fall into memories of the past and suffer alone. Watansong came to the apartment according to the address given by Yu Xiaoxiao. Just as I was about to go forward, I unexpectedly discovered that around the apartment, there were all kinds of paparazzi hiding in the dark, holding cameras with excitement in their eyes. Watansong, who had been staying with Yu Xiaoxiao for many years, realized that something was wrong. He deliberately chose a corner where no one noticed him and slowly approached the group of paparazzi. One of the paparazzi whispered to the person who was not far away, hey, you guys also received the news that the movie queen's mistress will show up tonight. The paparazzi who was asked nodded, but his eyes were fixed on the entrance of the apartment. Yeah, I've always heard that the movie queen has a lover, but I've never seen him. It's so hard to get this little scoop tonight, we can't miss it. Watansong heard their conversation and realized that these people were here to ambush him. He thought that since he had already separated from Yu Xiaoxiao, it would be impossible for him to bring any bad words to her again. He rode on his suitcase, turned around and left silently, deciding not to step into the apartment again. Watansong collected all the money he had, but in the end he could only come up with 130. In the past 4 years, he has been taking care of everything for Yu Xiaoxiao behind her back, giving her some comfort when she is worried and sad. He had worked part-time for a while before, but was severely criticized by Yu Xiaoxiao. Don't forget who I am. If someone knows that I'm supporting you and that you're working part-time, my reputation will be ruined by you. Isn't the money I gave you enough to spend? Why on earth do you still want to go out and embarrass yourself? He would never forget the moment when Yu Xiaoxiao was angry. It was the most intense quarrel in the past 4 years. But it was that time that made him completely give up the idea of working part-time. He stayed in the villa all day long, growing flowers and plants, and trying every way to study food, just hoping that she would be happy. He thought such peaceful and happy days would last forever, but he didn't expect that the time would be so short. Watansong held the 130 yuan in his hand and searched the internet for a while. In the end, he could only find a shabby little hotel to stay in. It is impossible to live in that apartment anymore. Even if I can escape tonight, I don't know if there will still be paparazzi lurking there in the future. To avoid any accidents, he needs to call Xiaoxiao tomorrow and ask him to arrange a new accommodation. He was nearly 1.9 meters tall, lying on the 1.8 meter bed, curling up as much as possible, staring at the ceiling with empty eyes, recalling every detail of what had happened with Xiaoxiao over the past 4 years. Those beautiful memories are just memories. I don't know how long he thought about it, but he gradually fell asleep. Hey, young man, wake up, get up. Watansong opened his eyes dazedly, looked at the old lady who was so close to him, and suddenly woke up and sat up. You? How come you came into my room so casually? The old lady clicked her tongue twice, her face full of disgust. What do you mean your room? You better understand this is my hotel. Your time is up, pack up and leave, I have guests waiting to check in. Watansong raised his hand and glanced at the time on his watch. Aren't we supposed to check out at 12 noon? It's only 6 o'clock. Checking out at 12 o'clock is a rule for big hotels. My small hotel doesn't have such a rule. The old lady started to push Watansong's suitcase out of the door and said, hurry up and get up. My hotel is full and the guests can't wait any longer. The young couple waiting to check in at the door looked him up and down, making Watansong feel uncomfortable. He did not argue with the old lady. He took his luggage, washed up briefly in the lobby, and left the hotel. He stood beside the bus stop, looking at the busy road and the tall buildings not far away, and touched the only $10 in his pocket. He dialed Xiaoxiao's number, but no one answered. Perhaps it was too early. Time passed bit by bit. Watansong took the bus and then the subway. Until I got on the last bus, I invested the remaining $2 in my hand. In the past, when he went out, he always drove the not-so-conspicuous luxury car that he had snatched from Xiaoxiao's garage. Therefore, he did not think the villa was that far from the city. Nowadays, when I take the bus and subway back and forth, I find that after more than 3 hours, the 10 yuan in my hand is hardly enough. After getting off the bus and looking at the 5 kilometers distance to the villa, Watansong called Xiaoxiao again. But there was still no one on the other end. Don't you want to answer my call, or are you really busy? Watansong silently put away his phone, stood there, and hesitated for a minute. He didn't want to cause trouble for Xiaoxiao and didn't want to continue to bother her, but now he had to ask her for help. Watansong pulled the suitcase and walked towards the villa. After nearly an hour, he finally reached the door of the villa. Watansong panted, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and skillfully pressed the password for the villa door. Just as he was about to push open the door, paparazzi appeared from nowhere and started taking pictures of him frantically. Finally, I got to squat on you. Watansong was extremely panicked and subconsciously wanted to push the door open and hide inside. But he realized that if he went in at this time, he would really be involved with Xiaoxiao. Without saying a word, he picked up his luggage and ran back. The paparazzi kept chasing after him and kept pressing the shutter button. You can imagine how ugly the photo is without having to guess. I wonder if it will affect Xiaoxiao. After running for an unknown amount of time, he finally shook off the paparazzi behind him and hid behind the tree, gasping for breath. Watansong immediately took out his cell phone and looked at the developments online, fearing that there would be any negative comments about Xiaoxiao. Chapter 9: Being mistaken for a Sasaeng fan. Watansong did not see any bad comments about Xiaoxiao on his phone. Just when I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, I remembered that he had just been photographed and the other party probably hadn't had a chance to upload it online yet. But right now, it is not appropriate for him to appear in this villa again. Watansong sat outside the villa for several hours, and it was already afternoon. He dialed Xiaoxiao's number again, and this time, the call was connected after ringing for a long time. Are you in the villa? I. As soon as Watansong opened his mouth, Xiaoxiao on the other end of the phone sounded impatient. Don't call me if you have anything. I'm busy right now. Watansong paused for a moment and recognized Song Yu's voice on the other side. Are you with Song Yu? He asked knowingly. When Song Yu's name was mentioned, Yu Xiaoxiao's tone was gentle for a moment. Well, he and I are recording a show. Yu Xiaoxiao, standing in the corner, looked at Song Yu, who was surrounded by the crowd, and a blush flashed across her face. This love show, but she had to work hard to be on this show with Song Yu. With her status, all it takes is one sentence and many shows are vying for her. But, being able to be with Song Yu, on the same show, not to mention it's a dating show, is a rare opportunity. Thinking back to the time, she had whispered a lot of wind into Song Yu's ear. I still remember Song Yu's embarrassed expression when he heard that it was a dating show. Although I am a movie emperor, I have already semi-retired from the entertainment industry. It's not appropriate to participate in this dating show now, right? Yu Xiaoxiao held the script in her hand and pretended to sigh, but this dating show is very famous, and I'm here with you, so the production team doesn't dare to add any other women to you. The influence of both of us appearing on this dating show together is more popular than filming a proper TV series. If you want to return to the entertainment industry, this dating show is the best choice. After saying this, Yu Xiaoxiao herself couldn't believe this poor excuse. But Song Yu believed it and agreed. This made her heart pound like a deer. Recalling the scene when Song Yu agreed to participate in the dating variety show, Yu Xiaoxiao gently covered her chest. She could no longer hear what Watansong was saying on the other end of the phone. Her eyes were filled with Song Yu, who smiled tenderly at him. Okay, I'm about to record the show, so I won't talk to you anymore. Before hanging up the phone, she didn't forget to say, if you have any problem, just find your agent and he will handle it for you. Watansong was sitting on a park bench, listening to the busy tone from the other end of the phone, with an unconcealable look of disappointment on his face. Just as he was about to get up, a timid girl came up to him. You are Watansong, right? Watansong looked blankly at the girl in front of him. She had 2 ponytails and was wearing a black mask. Her eyes seemed to be confirming something. Yes, I am. May I ask who you are? As Watansong finished speaking, the girl's eyes suddenly became sharp and she waved her hand behind her. He is Watansong, come here quickly. Watansong looked in the direction the girl pointed, and saw a group of girls rushing forward from the outskirts of the park's woods. They all wore black masks, had fierce looks in their eyes, and held something in their hands. Looking at the 5 or 6 girls running towards him, Watansong picked up his suitcase, turned around and wanted to run, but was stopped by the girl in front of him with her arms outstretched. Where do you want to run to, you illegitimate fan? Watansong was stunned. What illegitimate fan? While the two were talking, the girls rushed forward and without saying a word, they waved the things in their hands at Watansong. Damn illegitimate fans. Disgusting. You look so gentle and handsome, how could you do such a disgusting thing? I will protect my sister and will never let a beast like you run into her. Go to hell. Go to hell. Never show up in front of my sister again. Watansong curled up with his head in his hands, allowing the girls to punch and kick him. At the same time, I also learned from their words that his lingering at the door of the villa finally became a hot topic. Someone found out his location, so they came to him and warned him not to appear in front of Yu Xiaoxiao again. Today's fans are too crazy, especially fans of beautiful stars like Yu Xiaoxiao. They are very loyal and it is inevitable that there will be some irrational fans. After beating and scolding for half an hour, the girls finally vented their anger and spitted at the boy's mouth. Stay away from your sister's private life from now on. Next time we see you behave like this, we will beat you up every time we see you. Watansong was half lying on the ground, looking at the girls' departing backs with blurry eyes. As soon as he moved his foot, he gasped in pain. The girl is not very strong, but she can withstand the power of numbers. They took turns to kick each other to death. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't withstand their bombardment. In particular, they kept kicking and throwing rotten vegetable leaves and rotten eggs at people. Watansong lay on the ground for a long time to relax, then he slowly climbed up with his hands supporting the ground. He looked at his extremely painful and swollen ankle, sighed deeply, and slowly took out his cell phone. This time, he didn't need to actively search to see the news about the stalker fan lingering at the door of actress Yu Xiaoxiao's house on the hot search list. When I clicked on it, I saw photos of him running away in a panic. There is also a short video of the paparazzi chasing after him, filming frantically. And under this news, there are fans boycotts. This illegitimate fan is quite handsome, but doing such sneaky things is too disgusting, isn't it? Oh my god, this is so scary. He is still trying the password to open the door of the villa. Did I see it wrong? Why do I feel like he guessed the password correctly? If he hadn't remembered to come out in time, he would have gone in, right? These illegitimate fans are so amazing that they even know the password to the villa's door. Oh my god. This is too scary, sister, you have to protect yourself. Under this news, many fans tagged Xiaoxiao, asking her to remember to change the password of the villa door. At the same time, many fans also dug up everything about Watansong's past life. When Watansong's identity information was clearly disclosed on the internet, those netizens became even more restless. This illegitimate fan who looks like a human being actually graduated from the National Defense Academy. My god, a graduate of the National Defense Academy would do something like this. Aren't you too lenient in recruiting students? Can the National Defense Academy officials please explain how such a person was able to enter the school, get a diploma, and become an outstanding student? The situation on the internet became more and more serious, and the people at the National Defense Academy were alarmed. Colonel Chu, how do you think we should deal with this? Chapter 10 Song Yu is really good. Chu Chiku looked at the online news with a serious expression and a frown. This kind of thing is naturally clarified. Do you still need me to teach you how to do things? The person who called from the military academy felt his heart rise to his throat when he heard Chu Chiku's words. Okay, Colonel Chu, I know how to deal with this. After hanging up the phone, the man sighed and said, that's too scary. I shouldn't have made this call if I had known. The person next to him clicked his tongue twice. If you ask me, we should just clarify it. We all know what kind of person this Xiaohua is. This is all just following the trend on the internet. It's all a misunderstanding. The person who answered the phone sighed and shook his head. Isn't it that Xiaohua has gone to work there? We have to say hello to them. Forget it, forget it. Hurry up and post a clarification. If you delay any longer, Chu Poison Tongue will come to our military academy. The National Defense Academy issued a clarification post, confirming Watansong's character, but netizens still did not buy it. I didn't expect that a National Defense Academy would actually protect such scum. How can we trust the country? My dream before was to serve my country and I wanted to apply for the National Defense exam, but seeing what you did is so chilling. Isn't this scum just a little better at studying? Is it necessary to defend him for the sake of your national defense? The clarification post that had just been sent out was attacked by those fans one by one, and the person was furious. Are these fans mentally retarded? Can't they tell the truth? Before he could say anything else, the phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and was so scared that he almost forgot to breathe. He nodded and bowed quickly to answer the phone. Hello, Colonel Chu, you. Before he could finish his words, he heard the person on the other end of the phone scolding him. How do you do things? I let you handle it, but you just post a clarification post. Those fans are so radical that they even found Watansong and started fighting him. Don't you know how to deal with this kind of thing? If I wasn't in Kyoto right now, would you still need to do it? Faced with Chuchika's angry scolding, the man lowered his head instantly. Colonel Chu, I understand. I promise to complete the mission this time. The phone was hung up instantly, and the man took action without any hesitation. Yu Xiaoxiao, who was filming a romance variety show in the villa, took a moment to glance at her phone. She noticed the nasty things her fans did online and couldn't help but frown. Just as she was about to call Watansong, Song Yu sat down next to her. What's wrong? Are you unhappy? Did I do something wrong just now? Yu Xiaoxiao put her phone aside, smiled and shook her head at him. No, I read some bad news. Oh? Really? Song Yu took out his mobile phone and saw the news that Watansong was considered a stalker fan. Oh, is this what you are talking about? Yu Xiaoxiao was puzzled when she saw that he was not surprised at all. Why? Have you known about this for a long time? Yes. Song Yu nodded. I didn't tell you because I was afraid of affecting your mood. Now the trending search has been removed and the matter has been handled. Yu Xiaoxiao took out her phone again in disbelief, and so that the trending search that she had previously been able to see had been removed. At the same time, the authorities warned those fans who maliciously insulted Watansong and sent them a lawyer's letter. The girls who led the beating of Watansong were all sent to the police station and criticized and educated. Yu Xiaoxiao blinked slightly and looked at Song Yu beside her. Just as she was about to say something, she saw him smiling and shaking his head. then gently rubbing her head. Don't worry about this kind of thing. It's already been resolved. Let's not talk about it, okay? Yu Xiaoxiao nodded obediently, and a warm feeling ran through her heart. Watansong had nothing to do with him, but Song Yu took care of this trivial matter for his own sake. Song Yu was a really nice person. Watansong, who had no money, lay in the small park for a day and a night. After making sure that the injuries on his body were not so severe, he sat up dizzy. People strolling around looked at him with pitiful eyes. Watansong lowered his head, a look of shame flashing across his face. He didn't expect that a grown man like him would end up like this. Why was I so impulsive at the beginning and agreed to be Yu Xiaoxiao's secret lover? There is no medicine for regret in the world. No matter how much he regrets now, he cannot change the current situation. He pulled his suitcase, limped out of the villa and called his agent. The other party didn't answer the call for a long time, and in the end, he was blocked directly. Watansong stood there at a loss, not knowing where to go. He knew that Yu Xiaoxiao's agent had disliked him from the beginning, and even had an attitude of disgust towards him. I think he has ulterior motives for staying with Yu Xiaoxiao. But in these 4 years, he didn't take a penny from Yu Xiaoxiao, nor did he get any benefit from her. Now that Song Yu is back, he left Yu Xiaoxiao's side and did not continue to pester her. He just wanted a place to rest temporarily. Is even this small request of his a luxury? Watansong knew how miserable he was at the moment, but he had to go find his agent. In Shanghai, he didn't know anyone except Yu Xiaoxiao, and they were the only ones he could turn to for help. Watansong found out from the internet where Yu Xiaoxiao was recording the show, and he dragged his injured legs to the place. With just one glance, he found the dazzling and bright Yu Xiaoxiao in the crowd. Looking at himself again, he was filthy and covered in rotten eggs and vegetable leaves thrown by his fans. Even beggars stayed away from him. Watansong did not walk forward, but stood on the outskirts of the crowd, quietly looking at the person he was reluctant to leave. Yu Xiaoxiao, who was surrounded by the crowd, seemed to sense something. She looked in the direction of Watansong and frowned slightly. Before he could take any action, Song Yu's words drew his attention back. But the agent, who was always paying attention to Yu Xiaoxiao, looked in her direction and discovered Watansong. He quickly walked out of the crowd and pulled him to a deserted place. Why are you so haunted? Are you everywhere? Haven't you seen our Xiaoxiao, now making love with the movie star? Watansong's throat was dry and itchy, and he lowered his head slightly. I saw it, but my phone number was blocked. The agent's face was full of impatience, and he wished that Watansong in front of him could get as far away as possible and completely disappear from Yu Xiaoxiao's world. I'm warning you, now that the human Shadow Emperor is back, our Xiaoxiao will definitely be with him, so from now on, don't appear in front of her again. I know. Watansong nodded, it's just that I need a place to stay now. I need a place to stay. Chapter 11 Chasing Wife to the Crematorium. Watansong dragged his suitcase and walked in the dark and damp alley, looking at the scrap metal around him and carefully avoiding the obstacles. On the show, he begged his agent to give him a place to live, for a month at most. A month later, he will completely leave Shanghai and disappear from Yu Xiaoxiao's sight forever. The disgust on the agent's face was beyond words, and in the end, no one knew who he called. 20 minutes later, a man on a motorcycle took him to a place that was unknown how far away from the city center it was. This place can't be compared with that big villa, but he is not a person with high demands. He walked with a limp, up the shaky stairs and came to the innermost room on the 2nd floor. He looked at the rusty iron door in front of him, took out the key, and struggled for a while before finally opening the door. When the iron door opened, a musty smell hit him in the face, causing him to cough lightly a few times. He walked into the dim room and fumbled for a long time before turning on the light. The house was only about 20 square meters in size, with a hard bamboo bed in the middle, a wardrobe without doors, and various broken pots and pans. I don't know how long this house has been uninhabited. It is full of spiders and feces of various ants and insects. Watansong rolled up his sleeves, turned on the faucet, and limped over to clean the house. It was getting dark, and he didn't have time to rest properly in the past few days. He didn't care about anything else. He just lay down on the hard bed without any cover and fell into a deep sleep. The sky was filled with the color of fish, and Watansong was awakened by the shouting downstairs. He stretched, sat up slowly, patted his head which was a little aching, and opened the iron door. He stood at the railing on the 2nd floor, listening to the shouts of the newspaper seller downstairs, and felt a sense of familiarity. After living in a big villa in the city center for a long time, everything is quiet. The sudden return to the busy area made him feel at ease. Watansong turned around and looked at the small house, and it didn't seem so hard to accept. Fortunately, his physical condition is pretty good, and as his swollen ankle heals, he is able to walk gradually without feeling extreme pain with every step. He worked hard to clean up the small house. The neighbor next door, seeing how busy he was this morning, couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. "You are a really capable young man. It is rare to see young people who love cleanliness like you." Watansong blushed rarely after being praised. He chuckled and scratched the back of his head. "I didn't do anything, I just cleaned it up." Aunt Lee next door looked at the dirty and messy room, which he cleaned up, and noticed the hard bed. "Did you sleep like this last night?" Watansong nodded awkwardly. "I came here in a hurry and didn't bring any bedding." I'll go buy some in a few days." He didn't have a penny now, and he couldn't afford to buy bedding. But fortunately the weather was not cold, so I could survive sleeping without bedding for a few days. The kind-hearted Aunt Lee brought out a set of bedding from her home without saying a word. "Don't buy it. This is what my son used before. He's out for college now and doesn't need it anymore, so I'll give it to you." Watansong was flattered and hugged the quilt, not knowing what to say for a moment. Aunt Lee said with a smile, "Oh, we are all neighbors, no need to thank me. It is not easy for young people to find jobs nowadays." Watansong nodded with emotion and kept it in mind. He spread out the bedding, looking at this place as a small home, where his heart had a place to rest. Watansong was half lying on the bed, smelling the scent of laundry detergent under him, feeling particularly at ease. He looked at the content on his phone and paused. The dating variety show that Xiaoxiao participated in was filmed and broadcast at the same time. It is precisely because of this peculiar way that it has attracted a lot of audiences. And when everyone learned that she and Song Yu were attending the event together, they became even more excited and were all crazy about their couple. Watansong has been worried about his living quarters these days and was beaten and insulted by fans. On the other hand, Xiaoxiao and Song Yu have already sweetly moved into the big villa, and as per the program cruise style, they are hypocritically introducing themselves to each other. Watansong only watched for a while and then closed her phone. She didn't want to watch any more videos about her and Song Yu. Now that you have decided to let go, you shouldn't continue to linger on. The dating variety show became a hit right after its first episode aired. Especially the couple of Xiaoxiao and Song Yu, which made netizens crazy about them. Xiaoxiao curled up on the sofa, blushing and her heart beating as she watched the various clips posted by netizens. The video of her and Song Yu seemed to have really happened, causing her to breathe deeply to relieve her restless mood. Among these many videos, one person's remarks caught her attention. "Hey, have you noticed that Mr. Song looks alike to that illegitimate fan?" "No way. What's that look in your eyes, upstairs? Can the stunning appearance of Mr. Song be compared with that illegitimate fan? Comparing Mr. Song to that scumbag is simply an insult to Mr. Song's appearance." Xiaoxiao frowned slightly, dissatisfied with the harsh words those people said to Watansong. During these 4 years, she admitted that she mistook Watansong for Song Yu. But she also really wanted to get along with him. He was very much to her liking and understood everything about her. Thinking of this, Xiaoxiao looked at her agent not far away. "Did Watansong call you?" The agent paused as he was packing his things and chuckled. "He called me. He just wanted to ask how you were doing. I told him to stop worrying about it." Xiaoxiao pursed her lips slightly and finally said nothing. Now that Song Yu is back, her heart is with him, so naturally it is impossible for her to be distracted and give him any care. It's time to end their relationship. However, when she thought about completely cutting off contact with Watansong, she felt a little unhappy. Before she could think about where this dissatisfaction came from, her agent excitedly came up to her with a cell phone in hand. "Xiaoxiao, your show with Mr. Song is a big hit, and the production team has attracted investment again." The agent gave Xiaoxiao a thumbs up and said, "You are worthy of being my precious artist. If you don't make a move, it's fine. But if you do, it will shock the world." Xiaoxiao glanced at it indifferently and noticed the message sent by the program team. "What do you mean? Invite amateurs?" The agent nodded without surprise. "Yes, Director Zhang likes to invite amateurs to his shows. But he has never been invited to participate in previous dating shows. He said he listened to the fans' opinions and wanted to see the actor Song chasing his wife to the crematorium. Hey! That's a good idea. I want to see it too. Chapter 12 Live Variety Show. The agent's immorality made Xiaoxiao blush. She covered her face lightly, too shy to look at him for more than a second. What are you talking about? He and I are not together yet. The agent raised his eyebrows and chuckled. Given the situation between the two of you, it's only a matter of time before you two get together. Xiaoxiao lowered her head and smiled, her heart filled with sweetness. Huatansong's face flashed through his mind, and his smile froze on his face. If she is really with Song Yu, then what about Huatansong? Should I break up with him completely? Cut off all contact? The unhappiness in her heart resurfaced, and she raised her eyes slightly to look at her agent who was still smiling beside her. Brother Ju, do you think I should make things clear with Huatansong? The agent paused for a moment. He's known the relationship between you and him since the beginning. There's no need to explain it deliberately. It will only make him think about it. Xiaoxiao thought about it carefully and felt that what her agent said made sense. That's fine. Anyway, I found him a house and the money in the card is enough for him to spend. His future life has nothing to do with me. The agent didn't want Xiaoxiao to think too much about Huatansong, so he immediately changed the subject. But the production team said that this amateur will be selected by lottery from the numbers provided by fans. Is there anyone around you who is suitable for the show? Xiaoxiao thought about it and couldn't help but think of Huatansong. No. Even if there is, that person is not suitable. The agent didn't say much to her. Anyway, his main purpose of participating in this dating show was to tie Xiaoxiao and Song Yu together. In this way, they can create a perfect couple for each other, and any subsequent collaborations on movies and TV shows will become popular before they are even aired. The show started filming again, this time outdoors. The director looked excitedly at the several couples present. These were the couples he had specially paired up based on submissions from netizens. I have to say that netizens always have sharp eyes and the CPS they choose are always unexpectedly suitable. The most popular one is the Xiao CP of Xiaoxiao and Song Yu. There are a total of 3 men and 3 women participating in this dating variety show. The other 2 CPS also created a lot of sparks, but they were overshadowed by the CP fans of Xiaoxiao and Song Yu. Wen Yang, a model with a hot body, only wore a belly-bearing top with hot pants. With her tall figure, she stands out in the crowd. She endured the occasional gazes from others, and twisted her body to show her figure to the camera from all angles. Wow! I seem to see fairies descending to earth. Oh my god! I feel like my entire soul has been sublimated. It's so happy to work on this show. I can see fairies every day. I love it. The exclamations of the staff caught Wen Yang's attention, and she looked in the direction where everyone was looking. Xiaoxiao was wearing a white dress, with her black hair draped behind her. With a faint smile on her lips, she walked slowly out of the crowd. In just 1 second, it attracted the attention of everyone present. Wen Yang was a little unhappy, but when the camera came over, she smiled again. Wow! Sister Xiaoxiao looks so ethereal today. Xia Chenqian, a little-known singer standing nearby, looked at Wen Yang's exaggerated expression and unconsciously moved to the side. This woman is two-faced. She doesn't want to get so close to her. Under everyone's praise, Xiaoxiao stood beside Song Yu and looked at him shyly. A song, we meet again. Song Yu couldn't stop exclaiming in amazement, and praised generously, Xiaoxiao, you are very beautiful today. Xiaoxiao smiled sweetly and stroked her hair unconsciously. Thank you, you look handsome today too. The director on the side was very satisfied with the interaction between the two parties and clapped his hands. Welcome everyone to start our second recording. This time, I'm sure everyone has heard the news. We will invite amateurs to participate in our dating show, and it will be live streamed 24 hours a day. When the director said this, several men and women present were a little surprised. Wen Yang spoke up immediately, 24-hour live broadcast. Do we have to broadcast even when we take a shower or go to bed? The director chuckled and said, we will not broadcast such private matters. Everyone, you can cover your camera if you choose, but our cameras will not be turned off and our microphones will not be muted, so everyone should be careful about what they say and do in the next 24 hours. Wen Yang didn't agree with the program team's approach in her heart, but she saw that the other men and women present, especially Xiaoxiao and Song Yu, did not have any objections. If she were to take the initiative to refuse at this moment, she would be scolded by netizens. She coughed lightly. Sister Xiaoxiao, can you accept 24-hour live broadcast? Xiaoxiao, who was suddenly called out, looked at the flash of dissatisfaction in Wen Yang's eyes, and then she smiled at everyone. I have no problem live streaming for 24 hours. I come to this show to be myself and relax. Xia Qianqian raised her hand with a smile. That's fine with me too. This is my first time recording a 24-hour live variety show. I'm very excited. It didn't make sense for anyone present, so Wen Yang had to hold back her dissatisfaction. Everyone has no objection, so naturally I have no objection either. I hope to have a pleasant day with everyone in the next 24 hours. Seeing that everyone present had no objection, the director directly started the live lottery. Hello, everyone. This is the production team of I Want to Fall in Love with You. Today, our program will start a 24-hour live broadcast, and the new amateurs will also be drawn from the numbers on site. The program team's sudden live broadcast did not provide any prior notice. Therefore, at this moment, only a few people came into the live broadcast room. The director wrote down the numbers that were previously recorded on the tablet. At this moment, I have the numbers that everyone submitted. Who will be the 2 lucky winners today? The netizens who had just rushed into the live broadcast room were shocked when they saw this scene. Especially Xiaoxiao, who was standing quietly behind the director and looked like a fairy, immediately ran around to tell others. In a short while, tens of thousands of people poured into the live broadcast room. Wow! Sister is so beautiful. Sister is so fairy. Mom, please save me. I think I saw a fairy. Sister, fly bravely, Xiao fans will always be with you. Slurp, slurp, such a beautiful sister, let me get close to her. The live broadcast room was filled with comments praising Xiaoxiao, and she felt jealous to the point of gnashing her teeth. Isn't it just that she looks better and has better acting skills? Is it really so exaggerated for just 1 or 2 people? Xia Qianqian glanced at Wen Yang, who was almost unable to suppress her jealousy, and smiled as she whispered a reminder in her ear. Don't forget this is a 24-hour live broadcast. Chapter 13 The Cash Cow is Gone. Wen Yang immediately smiled, moved to the side, and waved gently at the camera. She is good-tempered and approachable when she is outside. But she can't let her image collapse because of this 24-hour live broadcast. Xia Qianqian looked at her expression that changed instantly and found it more and more funny. The director in front of the camera is still selecting the amateur candidate. I picked a few in a row, but when I called them, either the numbers were invalid or the calls were from middle-aged women or men in their 70s or 80s. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. My dear ancestors, can you please not fill in the numbers randomly? This is a serious variety show. The netizens in the live broadcast room burst into laughter. When you asked me to fill in the number, I thought it was a prank, but I didn't expect it to be serious. Director, why don't you let the elderly perform? That will also create a different effect. I am dying of laughter. Look at the director's face, which is as red as liver. I am about to smash the bed in the dormitory with my hammer. The director sighed helplessly and continued to pick numbers. After wasting 20 minutes, a girl finally answered the phone. Hello, we are the production team of I Want to Fall in Love with You. Congratulations on winning the invitation of amateurs. Do you have time to participate in the program tomorrow? After the director finished speaking, he could no longer hear the girl's voice from the other side. He spoke again. Hey, can you hear me? We are. I can hear you. A deep voice came. Send the time and address to my phone, I will attend on time. After leaving this message, the other party hung up the phone. The director was stunned. Wow. He laughed dryly and said, this girl is so cool. I really look forward to her coming to our show. I wonder what kind of spark she will create with us guests. Okay, let's choose another one next. I hope we can make the right choice this time. The director changed the page on the tablet, which was full of boys' numbers, and he swiped it. He dialed the number on the tablet, but no one answered. Just when he was about to hang up and find another one, that hoarse voice came from the phone. Hello, who is this? Xiaoxiao, who was whispering with Song Yu, heard the voice and raised her head slightly to look at the phone in the director's hand. Why does this voice sound so familiar? Song Yu followed Xiaoxiao's gaze, half lowered his head, and asked in a low voice, why? Do you know that person? Yu Xiaoxiao forced a smile and said, I don't know him. Maybe I heard it wrongly. The two small actions were clearly seen by netizens in the live broadcast room, and they all covered their chests and shouted. I can't help it. So sweet. They are so sweet. Look at how affectionate they are. If they say they're not together, I'll go out and step in dog shit. The guy in front who stepped on dog shit is making a big fuss. If we weren't together, I would eat shit live. Everyone is certain that Yu Xiaoxiao and Song Yu are already together, and that this dating show is a deliberate arrangement for them to have a relationship at public expense. The director had already explained his purpose to the other party, but the person on the other end of the phone hung up without hesitation. The director looked at the live broadcast room awkwardly. Maybe the other party mistook us for scammers. In that case, it's a shame. Let's take down the next one. The director glanced at the live broadcast room and found that the barrage was full of comments asking the director to continue making the call. This voice is so deep and attractive, he must be a handsome guy. Director, please call one more and invite him to the show. We have to follow the rules. This is not an empty number, and he is not a 70 or 80-year-old grandfather. We must pester him and call him back. Since they filled out their number, they must want to come. They can't just change it because they think it's a scam call, right? The director looked at the content on the barrage with some embarrassment and decided to call again, but this time the other party did not answer the call. He looked embarrassed. It's not my fault. If no one answered the phone, how could I find him? Yu Xiaoxiao walked forward at this time, glanced at the phone number, and her heart trembled. This number. The director noticed Yu Xiaoxiao's expression and was delighted. Mrs. Yu, do you know the owner of this number? Before Yu Xiaoxiao could say anything, the director clasped his hands together and prayed. Please invite him over. Netizens are really looking forward to his coming. I'll leave this matter to you. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned slightly and didn't want to agree to this. It seems that this person is a fan of Xiaoxiao. Yu Xiaoxiao turned around and saw Song Yu walking towards him with a smile on his face. Since the director has requested this, why don't you trouble Xiaoxiao to invite him over? Song Yu noticed that Yu Xiaoxiao's expression was not right, and a look of apology appeared on his face. I'm sorry, Xiaoxiao. Did I make things difficult for you? He looked at the director and said, then forget it. Don't make it difficult for Xiaoxiao. Song Yu lowered his eyes, sighed softly, and turned back. Yu Xiaoxiao suddenly became anxious. I can do it. Song Yu stopped and looked at her with bright eyes. Really okay. Won't it be difficult? No. Yu Xiaoxiao shook her head. I am somewhat familiar with this number. I will first confirm whether it is him. If so, I will invite him over. Song Yu raised a warm smile and nodded to her. Thank you for your hard work, Xiaoxiao. Yu Xiaoxiao breathed a sigh of relief and raised her lips slightly. After the show was over, her manager pulled her aside and asked, who is that person? Why can't I remember which fan I was familiar with? Yu Xiaoxiao pinched her brows tiredly and sighed deeply. Watan Song. The agent's eyes widened instantly. Watan Song? Are you crazy? Realizing that he was still outside the show, he looked around and lowered his voice. Have you considered what Mr. Song thinks when inviting him to the show? I've considered it. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned. But I saw that our Song was a little unhappy at that time, and I didn't want him to worry about such a small matter. Thinking back to her impulsiveness on the show, Yu Xiaoxiao felt extremely regretful. She wished she had a time machine and could go back to that time. She would never agree impulsively. The agent was unhappy. Watan Song's tactics are really despicable. Yu Xiaoxiao glanced at him with dissatisfaction. Don't say that about him. It may not be him. The agent crossed his arms and sneered. He filled in this phone number himself. How could it not be his? Seeing that Mr. Song is coming back, you are going to abandon him. He must be anxious without this ready-made cash cow. Yu Xiaoxiao didn't say anything and fell into deep thought. Watan Song, is it really you who wants to be on the show? Chapter 14. We are no longer related. Yu Xiaoxiao didn't want to think about Watan Song in this way, but what the agent said made sense. Just as she was about to call Watan Song to question him, Song Yu came over with his long legs. Xiaoxiao, are you busy? She immediately closed her phone, chuckled and shook her head. No, Song, what's the matter? Song Yu paused and pursed his lips. I want to apologize to you. I shouldn't have said those words on the show. I feel like I may have embarrassed you. No. Yu Xiaoxiao stood up in a panic. I didn't make it difficult for myself. I really wanted my fan friend to be on the show. He's quite handsome. The agent held his forehead helplessly and frantically signaled Yu Xiaoxiao with his eyes to stop talking. He is usually a very smart and calm person, but every time he faces Song Yu, he seems to have lost his soul. Song Yuqing took Yu Xiaoxiao's hand and pulled him to sit aside. Don't be forced to bear the consequences because of what I said. I don't want you to feel embarrassed about anything. Looking at Song Yu's affectionate eyes, Yu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but blush. Don't think too much. This matter is not caused by you. Song Yu pursed his lips tightly, but, I just saw you not far away and you seemed to be in a difficult and distressed state, I thought. When this matter was mentioned, Yu Xiaoxiao's face froze and she pulled her hand back. Song, I'm sorry, I hid something from you. Song Yu raised his eyebrows slightly and tilted his head. What's the matter? Our Xiaoxiao also has her own secret. Being looked at with a teasing look by Song Yu, Yu Xiaoxiao blushed again and sighed softly. I do know the owner of that number, but he is Watan Song. Yu Xiaoxiao stared at Song Yu's eyes, and when she saw him stunned for a moment, her heart suddenly panicked. I'm sorry, I should have told you sooner. Or I'll tell the director team right now and ask them to change one. Yu Xiaoxiao stood up and was about to go find the director team, but was stopped by Song Yu in time. He rubbed her head lovingly. Xiaoxiao, what do you think of me? I'm not someone who gets jealous easily, okay? Yu Xiaoxiao carefully observed Song Yu's expression. Seeing that he didn't seem to be pretending, she spoke carefully. You don't mind? You're not angry? Song Yu stroked his chin and pretended to think for a while. Of course I do mind it, but if the other party is Watan Song, then it's just right. You two happen to be familiar with each other. Even if you are signed to the same team, I can rest assured that he can take good care of you. He smiled and looked at Yu Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao, I know you have me in your heart, so I don't care who is around you. As long as he can take good care of you, I'll be at ease. A warm feeling passed through Yu Xiaoxiao's heart, tears welled up in her eyes, and she nodded slightly. I was not so resistant to inviting Watan Song to participate in the show. That night, Yu Xiaoxiao came to Xinhuan apartment fully armed. She opened the door, only to find no one inside and instantly frowned. What's going on? He doesn't live here. Yu Xiaoxiao immediately took out her cell phone and called Watan Song. But no one answered the phone, so she turned around and left in anger. You've become so capable that you don't even answer my calls. Ding ling ling. The phone rang, and Yu Xiaoxiao answered it without even looking at it. Why didn't you move into the apartment? Xiaoxiao, what are you talking about? The gentle voice on the phone made Yu Xiaoxiao pause. She glanced at the caller ID and found it was Song Yu, so she cleared her throat. Song, I'm sorry, I recognized the wrong person. Song Yu chuckled on the other end of the phone. It's okay, but does Xiaoxiao have anything to do tonight? Yu Xiaoxiao turned her head and glanced at the empty apartment. I'm fine. Xiaoxiao, if you're free, can you come to Jinhuang and have dinner with me and the investors? It's a good opportunity to introduce you to someone. Yu Xiaoxiao, feeling angry, agreed without any hesitation. Golden Glory Hotel. Yu Xiaoxiao, wearing the dress she wore during the day, walked down from the RV and immediately saw Song Yu standing at the door of the hotel waiting for her. She trotted forward. Why don't you go in? Song Yu smiled, took off his suit jacket and put it on Yu Xiaoxiao. I thought it was almost time, so I thought of coming out to wait for you. Yu Xiaoxiao lowered her head and touched her suit jacket, feeling extremely warm. You've been waiting for a long time, right? Her eyes were smiling. Sorry, there was a traffic jam on the road, I'm late. It's okay. Song Yu shook his head indifferently. As long as I wait for you, I'm willing to wait for you no matter how long it takes. Yu Xiaoxiao was walking side by side with him. As soon as she looked up, she noticed the man in waiter's clothes not far away. She subconsciously strode forward and grabbed the man's arm. The man lowered his head and looked at the woman who was holding his arm. He looked up along the arm and saw the person in front of him clearly. He couldn't hide the surprise in his eyes. Yu Xiaoxiao's eyes widened. Watan Song? Why are you here? Yu Xiaoxiao let go of her hand, and the anger that had been suppressed in her heart suddenly rushed up. Why didn't you answer my call? Why don't you live in that apartment? Now you come here to work as a waiter, what on earth do you want to do? Yu Xiaoxiao's 3 consecutive questions startled Watan Song. He noticed the suit jacket she was wearing and looked behind her. Song Yu was standing not far away, looking at him expressionlessly. Huatan Song took 2 steps back and said, "Ms. Yu, there is no relationship between us anymore. I don't need to report to you what I do, right?" Huatan Song's attitude stunned Yu Xiaoxiao. In the 4 years he's been with her, when has he ever spoken to her in this tone? The anger that was being controlled became increasingly uncontrollable. Just as Yu Xiaoxiao was about to explode, Song Yu's voice rang out behind her. "Xiaoxiao, don't make the investors wait anxiously." Song Yu's words calmed Yu Xiaoxiao down. She glanced at Huatan Song and turned away. Huatan Song looked at the 2 people hugging each other and leaving, lowered his head, and took a deep breath. These days, he often sees news about Yu Xiaoxiao and Song Yu on the internet. Various clips made by netizens show pink bubbles popping up in the videos. The friendship between the 2 doesn't seem fake. He tried his best to block out the videos that made him sad, but the sudden meeting in the hotel today made his heart tremble. The white dress she was wearing was very beautiful. Just as netizens said, it was very fairy-like and beautiful, as if a fairy from heaven had descended to earth. But the suit jacket draped over her shoulders was particularly eye-catching. Before, he could still deceive himself by not watching those videos, but now the relationship between the 2 is developing rapidly. Perhaps, they have been together for a long time, and all that's left is an official announcement. Huatan Song took the tray and turned to leave. He should let it go completely. Chapter 15. I can endure anything for him. In the box. "Mr. Zhu, this is Yu Xiaoxiao, my friend." Yu Xiaoxiao took off her suit and extended her hand to the investor with a smile. "Hello, Mr. Zhu, I'm Yu Xiaoxiao." President Zhu stood up with a smile. Who doesn't know the famous movie Queen? President Zhu gently held Yu Xiaoxiao's hand and stroked the back of her hand with his thumb, causing Yu Xiaoxiao to frown slightly in dissatisfaction. Song Yu's eyes dimmed slightly and he patted the back of her hand lightly under the table. Yu Xiaoxiao smiled at him. Mr. Zhu, with a big belly, half leaned on the table and chair, looking at Yu Xiaoxiao. "On the internet, everyone says you 2 are together. Song Yu, tell me the truth, are you 2 really together?" Song Yu's expression remained unchanged, and he chuckled, "Boss Zhu, please stop teasing me. I just returned to China and have a lot of things to do." He glanced at Yu Xiaoxiao beside him and said, "Besides, I am a has-been star, how can I be worthy of Xiaoxiao, a popular actress?" He raised the wine glass in front of him, stood up, and half bent his waist. "Mr. Zhu, come, I'll toast you. You gave me a lot of advice before." Mr. Zhu, who was sitting in his seat, did not take any action. Instead, he glanced at Yu Xiaoxiao, who was almost embarrassed. "Since you are Song Yu's friend, why don't we have a drink together?" Yu Xiaoxiao frowned again. "Sorry, I never drink outside." Mr. Zhu's face changed slightly, and he said with a sigh, "So it seems you are not going to give me this face." He looked at Song Yu. "Xiao Song, your friend really has a temper. She is indeed a popular movie queen." He waved his hands and pretended to get up. "I can't afford to offend you, so it's better for me to leave." Song Yu quickly smiled and stretched out his hand, saying with a smile, "What are you talking about, Mr. Zhu? She is just a little girl. This wine is too strong and it is really not suitable for her." Song Yu took the wine glass next to Yu Xiaoxiao and filled it up. "Mr. Zhu, I'll drink her wine for her." Without giving Mr. Zhu a chance to react, Song Yu drank both glasses of wine in one gulp and choked a few times. Yu Xiaoxiao looked at him worriedly. Song, are you okay?" Song Yu shook his head and smiled at her. "Don't worry about me, I can drink a lot." "Good." President Zhu applauded. "Xiao Song can really drink a lot." Mr. Zhu took the large wine glass beside him and filled it up. "Come on, Xiao Song, let's drink together." Song Yu took the full glass of wine with embarrassment and pursed his lips. Song Yu's pores made Mr. Zhu tut in dissatisfaction. "Why, Xiao Song, are you unwilling to drink this glass of wine with your brother Zhu? How could that be?" Song Yu chuckled. He looked at the wine glass in his hand, let out a sigh, and just as he raised the glass, someone knocked on the door of the box. "Excuse me, serve the dishes." The 3 people in the box looked towards the door, and Huatan Song walked in with a tray. When he saw the 3 people looking at him, he nodded slightly and removed the food from the plate without looking away. President Zhu was the first to look away and looked at the wine glass in Song Yu's hand. "Xiao Song, do you want to drink this wine?" There was a hint of threat in Mr. Zhu's words, and Song Yu's face looked a little bad. Thinking about the purpose of meeting him today, I forced myself to suppress the unhappiness in my heart. Mr. Ju, look at what you said. Of course I will drink this wine. Song Yu glanced at Watansong, who was still handling the dishes and had not left, and his expression was a little unhappy. He didn't want to appear to be forced in front of Watansong. Yu Xiaoxiao reached out and snatched the wine glass from Song Yu's hand. Mr. Ju, don't go too far. She looked at Mr. Ju with a little displeasure. Your 2 liang wine glass should be replaced with 1 jin of wine. This is not the way to bully people. Mr. Ju, who had been unhappy with Yu Xiaoxiao for a long time, changed his expression and slammed the table. I'm talking to Xiao Song, what does it have to do with you? Bang! The sound of the plate falling to the ground made the 3 people on the scene look at Watansong, who had not left yet. He half bowed to the 3 people apologetically. Sorry, my hand slipped. How the hell do you do things? Mr. Ju pointed his unhappy hand at him angrily. You can't even put a plate on the table. Are your hands disabled? Bang! Yu Xiaoxiao, who had been suppressing her anger, could no longer control the rage in her heart and slammed the wine glass in front of her to the ground. Who are you? You think you have some power, so you show off here. Don't you think you are too important? Mr. Ju's face turned red, and he stood up angrily. You are just an actor, how dare you talk to me like this? How do you talk? Watansong tried to restrain himself, but when Mr. Ju said this, he still couldn't control his emotions. Although he had decided to completely cut off his relationship with Yu Xiaoxiao, he would not allow anyone to humiliate her in front of him. He didn't want Yu Xiaoxiao to be blamed or abused. Watansong looked angry and his face was slightly red. Yu Xiaoxiao was startled by the protective look on her face. Is he speaking for himself? Do you have the right to talk here? Song Yu said dissatisfiedly. He immediately put on a smile and looked at the furious Mr. Ju. Mr. Ju, you are a magnanimous person. Don't bother with us. I don't care about you. President Ju was so angry that he put his hands on his waist and said, the wine glass was thrown in my face, and I didn't care? Am I such a good-tempered person? Song Yu glanced at Yu Xiaoxiao, his expression a little embarrassed. Mr. Ju, what do you want to do about this matter? President Ju snorted coldly and pointed at Yu Xiaoxiao. Tell her to come to my room tonight and apologize to me. I will do whatever you ask me to do right away. Song Yu frowned, obviously dissatisfied with Mr. Ju's proposal. Yu Xiaoxiao had a cold face, and the anger in her eyes could not be concealed. Watansong looked at her expression and knew that she had endured to the limit. His eyes fell on her tightly clenched fists. For Song Yu, can you even endure this kind of humiliation? I still remember that at the beginning, he forgot that she didn't eat chili and added a little flavor enhancer, and she got angry on the spot and scolded him severely. What did she say then? I can't stand any grievances and will never embarrass myself. So, next time something like this happens, don't blame me for not showing you mercy. Watansong didn't know what she meant by ruthless, but from then on he kept in mind that she must not suffer any injustice. Even though he has no money or power, as long as she encounters any grievances or is bullied, he wants to stand up for her and protect her. But now, for Song Yu, she had to endure this humiliation. Just as the stalemate was going on the court, the agent arrived late. I'm sorry, I'm late because my artists are giving me a lot of trouble. The agent walked into the box, looked at the people on the field, and immediately realized that the atmosphere was not right. Watansong, why is it you again? Chapter 16 Expelled. Yu Xiaoxiao was stunned for a moment, realizing that her agent had misunderstood, and was about to open her mouth to refute on behalf of Watansong. But just as she made a move, Song Yu held her hand. Xiaoxiao, are you okay? He lowered his voice and said, don't take his words to heart. People like them are like this when they have a little power. Yu Xiaoxiao smiled and shook her head at him, her eyes fixed on Watansong, who was being scolded by his agent but remained silent. Tell me, why are you pestering our Xiaoxiao every day? I know that our Xiaoxiao is kind and beautiful, but you are trying to get close to her. Do you know that this is illegal? Watansong didn't say anything. He knew that the agent was trying to ease the relationship between them and let him take the blame. If this can make her feel better and not cause a falling out with the other party, then let him curse a few times. After scolding Watansong's agent, he nodded and looked at Mr. Ju. Oh, Mr. Ju, it's all the waiter's fault. He couldn't even do such a small thing and angered you, Mr. Ju. The agent glanced at Watansong and said, "Call your manager over and apologize to our CEO Ju." Watansong raised his eyebrows slightly, with a hint of reluctance in his heart. If he was simply scolded by his agent, that would be fine. But if he called the manager over, he might lose the short-term job he had just found. He is penniless now and needs this job to make a living. Watansong's silence made the agent furious. "I'm talking to you, don't you understand? You're not going to call, are you?" "Okay." The agent nodded at him. "I know this hotel owner. I'll call him right away." Upon hearing what his agent said, Watansong quickly said, "I'm sorry, I'll go call him right away." If the agent really called the boss, he would not only lose his job, but might even have to pay compensation for their mental damages. In the 4 years that he has been with Xiaoxiao, Watansong has seen too many changes in human nature. As people from the upper class with a certain status, they cannot tolerate others' disrespect. Watansong called the manager, and the agent scolded the manager again. The manager bowed and apologized to Mr. Ju, forcing Watansong to apologize as well. Xiaoxiao, who was standing aside, frowned slightly, feeling a little uncomfortable in her heart. She didn't think about the reason for the uncomfortable feeling, she just thought that the atmosphere in the box was too depressing and she didn't want to stay there any longer. Song Yu noticed that something was wrong with her and whispered, "What's wrong, Xiaoxiao? Are you feeling unwell?" Xiaoxiao nodded slightly and hummed, "It's a bit boring, I want to leave." The purpose of attending today's dinner was to accompany Song Yu. If it weren't for Song Yu, she would never be here drinking and chatting with this extremely wretched old man. Song Yu glanced at Mr. Ju, who had been calmed down, and said apologetically, "Mr. Ju, I'm sorry to have embarrassed you today. Next time, I'll make an appointment with you and apologize to you. Today, we will leave first." Without waiting for Mr. Ju to speak, Song Yu picked up the suit jacket beside him and put it on Xiaoxiao, then took her hand and led her out of the box. Mr. Ju was annoyed by his attitude. He snorted coldly and left. The agent glanced at Watansong coldly and hurried out of the box. The manager looked at Watansong beside him angrily. "You really killed me. I made an exception and agreed to let you work here for a while because you look good, but you ended up causing such a big trouble for me." Watansong endured the manager's abuse and said, "I'm sorry, manager. This is my responsibility and I will take responsibility for it." "Responsible? How can you be responsible? Do you know who you have offended?" The manager spitted and said, "Forget it, why am I telling you so much? Just pack up and leave." Watansong also wanted to ask the manager if he could stay. But the manager didn't even give him a chance to speak and just turned and left. Before leaving, he didn't forget to say, "The broken plates and glasses will be deducted from your salary." Watansong looked at the manager's departing back and cleaned up the mess silently. He has to find a job again. Watansong sighed deeply, picked up the rag beside him and started cleaning. The agent left and came back, looking at his hardworking appearance, and remembered what Song Yu had said to him. "I don't think it's a bad thing to have Watansong participate in the show. It's just that his identity when he comes to participate in the program can be changed, which can bring a lot of positive influence to Xiaoxiao." The agent immediately thought of a new identity for Watansong. He looks good and can bring a lot of attention to the show. At the same time, he looks so similar to Song Yu, which is another big topic of discussion. Watansong turned around and looked at his agent who was leaning against the door with his arms crossed, and stopped what he was doing. "You are so obedient. I've told you to get out, why are you still working so hard cleaning?" Watansong said nothing, turned around and continued cleaning. "This is my job. Even if I have to leave tomorrow, I have to wait until the end of the shift." The agent clicked his tongue twice and came up to him. "I heard from Xiaoxiao that you didn't take the bank card she gave you, so you must be very short of money now, right?" Watansong glanced at him, a flash of dissatisfaction in his eyes. He knew that his agent, Xiaoxiao, had never liked him. Before, for the sake of Xiaoxiao, he tried hard to endure the weirdness he brought to himself. But now, he has cut off contact with Xiaoxiao, so naturally there is no need to continue to tolerate it. "Ju Mao, if you have nothing to do, please leave and don't disturb me while I'm working." Ju Mao frowned frivolously. "Oh, you're in a bad mood." Watansong was too lazy to pay attention to him and buried his head in his work. Ju Mao snatched the rag from his hand and threw it into the basin. "What are you doing?" Watansong asked angrily. "I have a job here, it's easy and the salary is high, do you want to do it? Hua Tansong looked at him suspiciously. Are you so kind? I'm not that bad. Zhu Mao clicked his tongue. You know the love show Xiaoxiao is filming with Mr. Song right now, right? Now, I need an amateur, and I just happened to pick you, so I called you. After Zhu Mao's reminder, Hua Tansong vaguely remembered that it was indeed the case. He was busy at that time and the noise was too loud so he couldn't hear what was being said on the other end. He just thought it was an advertisement and hung up. He vaguely remembered that he was hit again later, but when he saw it, it was already evening and he ignored it. I didn't agree at first, but Xiaoxiao is nostalgic and agreed to the program team. So, now I want you to participate in the program as a poor student sponsored by Xiaoxiao. This will also explain why Xiaoxiao knows you. What do you think? Chapter 17 Such tenderness does not belong to him. Hua Tansong did not agree immediately as he had many concerns in his mind. He has decided to cut off contact with Yu Xiaoxiao. If he agrees to participate in the show, he will be more involved with her. Especially when he had to watch Yu Xiaoxiao and Song Yu being so sweet, he couldn't just stand by and watch. Agent Zhu Mao saw his hesitation and said coldly, okay, I see what you mean. I won't make it difficult for you, but Xiaoxiao has already promised the production team, she will probably come back to you. After what happened today, I think she won't be happy with you. If she misses the show because of you, you know her temper. Hua Tansong frowned slightly. He naturally understood Yu Xiaoxiao's temper. Although today's incident was not caused by him, it was still slightly related to him. Hua Tansong thought about it in his mind and finally nodded in agreement. Anyway, he will leave Shanghai in half a month. Now that he has been fired from his job at the hotel, he urgently needs a job that can support his life. When I saw that he agreed on the weekend, I told him the time and place and then turned and left. He knew Hua Tansong too well. As long as Yu Xiaoxiao was mentioned, he would agree no matter how much humiliation he had to endure. At the recording site of the program, Yu Xiaoxiao raised her hand and glanced at the time on her watch, feeling a little dissatisfied. It's only 5 in the morning and your show has already started recording. Yes. The cameraman nodded and took out the task card. Teacher Yu, your task this morning is to wake up your song. Please take your room card and go. Yu Xiaoxiao held the room card in her hand, feeling a little shy. Is this a live broadcast? Wouldn't it be bad if something was filmed? The cameraman chuckled and said, Teacher Yu, please rest assured that we will pay attention to the privacy of our guests. Yu Xiaoxiao nodded slightly, took the room card and came to the door, took a deep breath, and opened the door with a beep. She looked at the ball wrapped in a human shape in the dim room and couldn't help but feel nervous. This was her first time seeing Song Yu sleeping. She wondered if he would be in a bad mood when he woke up. Would her behavior anger him? Yu Xiaoxiao suddenly became nervous and glanced at the camera. She saw the other party nodding encouragingly to her, indicating that she should hurry forward. Yu Xiaoxiao walked cautiously to the bed, half bent over. Song, wake up. The netizens who had received the news a long time ago and came to the live broadcast room early in the morning had their hearts melted when they heard Yu Xiaoxiao's extremely gentle words. Wow, my sister's voice is so sweet. I've set it as my wake-up ringtone. Isn't Mr. Song so lucky? I have my sister's wake-up service in the morning. I really wish I was the one lying in bed. Oh, sister, I love you. The person on the bed did not move. Yu Xiaoxiao half squatted down and patted the other person's shoulder lightly. Song, the recording is about to start, you can't stay in bed tilder. The brother holding the camera's hand trembled, and he was almost melted by Yu Xiaoxiao's voice. His small mistake did not escape the sharp eyes of netizens. Cameraman, why are your hands shaking? Is it because my sister's voice is more gentle and intoxicating in person? I really want to be Mr. Song. Isn't he so happy? Am I the only one who thinks Song Yu is a pretentious person? The other party is making so much noise, there is no way he is not awake, right? You're not the only one in front of me. I think he just enjoys the actress groveling at him. I even suspect he has bad intentions. When Song Yu's fans in the live broadcast room saw the black fans, they were unwilling to be outdone and started attacking them. Yu Xiaoxiao was standing in front of the bed in the hotel, still looking at the person in front of the bed with a smile on her face. She raised her hand and tried to pull the quilt down, and the person lying on the bed finally moved and slowly poked his head out. The smile on Yu Xiaoxiao's face froze as she looked at the person in front of her. You, why are you here? She turned her head sharply and looked at the camera. Didn't you say it was our song? Did you make a mistake? No. The cameraman shook his head. It's just that this a song is not that a song. For the first time, Yu Xiaoxiao looked unhappy. She stood up and looked at Watansong, who was lying on the bed and slowly sitting up. Her face looked extremely bad. When the netizens in the live broadcast room suddenly saw Watansong, they were confused at first. Sister, why do you look like this? Isn't this Mr. Song? Are the rumors about the affair between the two of them all false? No, look carefully. Although this person looks very similar to actor Song, there are still big differences. When Watansong sat up, netizens realized that the other person's face only looked slightly like Song Yu. Oh my god! The production team is really good at making trouble. They found someone who looks like Mr. Song. No wonder my sister, who is usually in a good mood, is so unhappy. Anyone would be in a bad mood if they were deceived like this in the morning. Your production team is going too far. You are wasting our sister's feelings. Yu Xiaoxiao was in an extremely bad mood. Because of what happened last night, she stayed awake all night, worried that her temper had implicated Song Yu. Early in the morning, I was woken up by the program crew again. I thought I could see Song Yu's sleeping face, but it turned out to be such an unlucky person. Watansong raised his eyes slightly, carefully observing Yu Xiaoxiao's expression, and felt extremely hurt. He heard the noise as early as when the hotel room door was pushed open. When he heard the voice was hers, he didn't move, wanting to see what the production crew was doing. What he got in the end was Yu Xiaoxiao's gentle voice. In a trance, he thought the other party was really calling him. But he knew in his heart that Yu Xiaoxiao would never call his name in such a gentle and cautious tone. Watansong got out of bed consciously. It was the first time he was facing a camera, especially a live broadcast, and he felt a little at a loss. The cameraman handed the task card to Yu Xiaoxiao again. Congratulations, Teacher Yu, for forming a one-day CP with today's amateur guest. Yu Xiaoxiao, who hadn't calmed down yet, became unhappy when she heard the cameraman's words again. What's the meaning? She glanced at Watansong and said, I have to be with him all day and do all the sweet tasks with him. The cameraman nodded and took 2 steps back. He could feel the anger suppressed in Yu Xiaoxiao's heart, but the director arranged it this way for the sake of the show's effect. It has to be said that the director's arrangement successfully angered the netizens in the live broadcast room. They protested collectively. Director, please come out here. What kind of crappy arrangement is this? This is so intoxicating. You found someone who looks like Mr. Song to pair up with our sister. Are you trying to disgust our sister? Although I'd like to see Mr. Song chasing his wife to the crematorium, could you please not torture our sister? Chapter 18. Her mood changes with him. Yu Xiaoxiao tried hard to suppress the unhappiness in her heart and glanced at Watansong, who was standing timidly beside her. She already knew from her agent that Watansong was going to participate in the show, but she didn't expect that he would be paired with her as soon as he arrived. She was somewhat dissatisfied with the arrangement of the program crew. She glanced at the camera not far away and suppressed the urge to get angry. Thinking of the relationship between her and Watansong that was publicly announced, Yu Xiaoxiao smiled. Since I'm on this show, I'll have fun. It can also be considered a short break for myself. Watansong didn't say anything, just nodded. The camera is filming now, and the more you talk, the more mistakes you make. He knows this very well. Watansong and Yu Xiaoxiao arrived outside the hotel, and there was no one around. Are we the first? Yu Xiaoxiao asked. Yes. Yu Xiaoxiao stood there patiently, looking in the direction of the hotel entrance. I don't know who Song Yu's partner is today. But no matter who is paired with Song Yu, she will not feel comfortable. Especially when she glanced at Watansong, who was standing next to her without saying a word, she felt even more dissatisfied. 2 minutes later, the other CPS arrived one after another, but Song Yu was nowhere to be seen. Yu Xiaoxiao couldn't wait any longer. Why hasn't Song come out yet? Didn't anyone notify him? The director smiled mysteriously. Teacher Song is the last to appear, their performance is more exciting. Yu Xiaoxiao frowned slightly, not understanding the meaning of the director's mysterious smile. And the netizens who were watching the live broadcast had already started cursing in the barrage. I'm really impressed by this production team. How did they pair up the couples? I can understand that the production team messed up the CPS for the sake of entertainment, but is this game stupid or retarded? I watch variety shows for my own enjoyment, but now I'm so pissed. Director, if you can't do the show, find someone else to do it. Netizens in the live broadcast room collectively protested, expressing dissatisfaction with the director team's arrangements. In the hotel room, Song Yu, who was the first to be awakened by the program crew, stood at the door. There was a hint of embarrassment on his face and he knocked lightly on the door in front of him. Wen Yang, are you okay? Give me 2 more minutes, it will be done soon. Song Yu sighed helplessly and looked at the cameraman filming. Maybe girls always need to wash and dress up properly. This time is really too early. It's a bit too much to ask. The cameraman took out a room card and handed it to Song Yu. The director has given instructions. You can open the door now. Song Yu took the room card with embarrassment and hesitated. Isn't this a bit bad? What if Miss Wen is changing clothes now? Wouldn't this expose her privacy? The cameraman smiled at him and said, please rest assured, Mr. Song. Our production team has confirmed that Miss Wen is now fully capable of filming. Song Yu nodded and opened the door with the room card. As soon as he pushed the door open, he saw Wen Yan wearing a bikini, with big wavy hair and fiery red lips, smiling and greeting him. And in front of her was a chair. As he stepped into the room, loud music started playing and Wen Yang began to dance passionately. The dance that was so close to the edge of reality made the otakus in the live broadcast room bleed from their noses. Song Yu, who was standing in front of Wen Yang, looked a little embarrassed. Before he could react, Wen Yang strode forward, placed her hands lightly on his shoulders, and moved shyly in front of him. Teacher Song, I'm dancing so hard, won't you cooperate? Song Yu smiled, and moved in front of Wen Yang to the rhythm of the music, with the camera frantically capturing the atmosphere between the two. The fans in the live broadcast room who were supporting the couple of Xiaoxiao and Song Yu could no longer sit still and immediately started to criticize the program crew for their crappy arrangements. After the dance ended, Wen Yang looked at Song Yu with a blushing face. Just as he was about to say something, he saw Song Yu take a step back. Miss Wen, it's getting late. Let's go down quickly and don't keep anyone waiting any longer. Song Yu politely left the room and looked at Wen Yang with a smile. Wen Yang raised her eyes and looked directly into Song Yu's eyes. She saw what was in his eyes and without any hesitation, she immediately put on her clothes and followed him downstairs to the hotel. When Xiaoxiao saw Song Yu and Wen Yang appear in front of her arm in arm, she became even more restless. In just one morning, their relationship developed so quickly. When Xiaoxiao looked over, Song Yu pulled his hand away without saying a word, and greeted the male actor next to him with a smile. Tan Song looked at Xiaoxiao, gritting her teeth in hatred, and felt very sad. In his heart, he always thought that Xiaoxiao was cold and arrogant. Even if she has a person like Song Yu in her heart, she would not behave inappropriately in public. But now, Song Yu just linked his arm with Wen Yang, and she couldn't control her expression and completely forgot about the camera that was still filming. Tan Song took 2 steps forward, blocking the camera that was facing Xiaoxiao's face, and glanced at the camera with displeasure. At the same time, he gently patted the back of Xiaoxiao's hand, signaling her to pay attention to her emotions. After all, it's a 24-hour live broadcast, and her every move is watched by netizens. If any bad image appears and the black fans find evidence of it, it will cause another public opinion storm. Xiaoxiao was immersed in her own emotions, and was suddenly slapped by Tan Song. She turned her head away in displeasure. She looked at the person whose shoulder was touching hers and took 2 steps to the side. Don't get so close to me. Tan Song sighed silently and lowered his voice and said, the camera is filming, pay attention to your expression. Xiaoxiao glared at him in dissatisfaction. You don't need to interfere in my affairs, and I don't bother to perform in front of the camera. The director noticed all of their actions and clapped his hands with a smile. Welcome everyone to start today's recording. Today we have added 2 amateurs to our program. Let them introduce themselves. The director's attention was focused on Tan Song and another amateur girl. The girl dressed in black stepped forward and said, my name is Qing, I'm 24 years old and unemployed. Qing's cold introduction made the director smile awkwardly, and then he turned his attention to Tan Song. Tan Song took a step forward and said, hello everyone, my name is Tan Song, I'm 26 years old and currently unemployed. The 2 brief introductions made the director no longer rely on them for the show's effect. Now that the 2 amateurs have finished introducing themselves, let's start our recording today. First of all, today's warm-up task is for everyone to hold hands and head to our next destination. You are not allowed to let go of each other during the entire journey. Not even for a second, otherwise there will be severe punishment. Chapter 19 Sweet Punishment. After hearing the director's assignment, the other couples immediately held hands. Only Song Yu was hesitating whether to hold hands, but Wen Yang had already held his hand warmly. Teacher Song, this is the director's arrangement. You don't want us to lose, do you? Song Yu smiled and said, since it is the director's arrangement, then of course we have to listen to it. His gaze was vaguely fixed on Xiaoxiao, who was sitting diagonally opposite to him. Tansong stood there, hesitating whether to hold hands. But looking at Xiaoxiao's face full of disgust, he stood there and dared not move. The director team has announced that they can set off, and even Song Yu has been led away by Wen Yang. Tansong was still standing there, looking at Xiaoxiao, who was silent. Seeing that everyone had left, he couldn't help but say, Xiaoxiao, we. Xiaoxiao turned around and looked at his cowardly appearance, feeling extremely angry. He is a grown man, but he doesn't have any manliness at all. Wen Yang can take the initiative to hold our Song's hand, so why can't he? Xiaoxiao sighed helplessly, reached out and took his hand, then followed the group with an expressionless face. The netizens in the live broadcast room, seeing the weird atmosphere between these people, immediately began to feel sorry for Xiaoxiao. Our sister is so pitiful, having to face such a weak man. Today is the day. Sister, won't you protect him for this day? He looks like a tall man, how come he is like a little girl? I'm really fed up with the evil production team. Just look at our best actress and best actor. They are clearly in love, but you have to separate them. Tansong couldn't see the discussions among netizens in the live broadcast room, and if he saw them, he wouldn't care about them. In his eyes, there was only Xiaoxiao. As long as he is in front of Xiaoxiao, he can abandon everything. It's a pity that Xiaoxiao now only has Song Yu in her eyes. Tansong looked at Xiaoxiao's hand that was tightly clenched. He didn't know how much strength she used, but she squeezed his hand until it turned red. She just kept walking forward, and following her gaze, she could see Song Yu not far ahead. Tansong quickly followed her, looked down at her 7 or 8 centimeter high heels, and frowned slightly. You are wearing high heels, walk slowly, don't be in a hurry. Xiaoxiao ignored him and even disliked that he walked too slowly. She simply shook off his hand and strode towards Song Yu. Tansong was stunned for a moment. When he realized what had happened, he looked at the camera beside him. Did the director say that we can't let go? The camera nodded silently. Tansong, who had long guessed that Xiaoxiao would not cooperate with him in completing the mission, pursed his lips slightly. So, what is the punishment? The cameraman shook his head. Tansong didn't say anything else. He quickly caught up with the main group and arrived at the next game location. Xiaoxiao looked at Tansong, who came over breathlessly, and a trace of guilt flashed through her heart. Just then, the director cleared his throat twice. Everyone has completed the task perfectly and brilliantly, except for Mr. Yu and Mr. Hua. You didn't arrive at your destination hand in hand, so I will punish you next. Tansong didn't say anything. He glanced at Xiaoxiao, who was standing next to Song Yu, then silently walked up to her and looked at the director. The director chuckled and said, please don't be afraid. This is a dating show, so we won't let you receive any harsh punishment. While the director was speaking, he had already brought the prepared props to the two of them. Please use the iron ring in your hands to jump through on one foot. Xiaoxiao frowned immediately. It's just such a small iron hoop, and you still have to jump on one foot. Isn't this embarrassing? She gently held Song Yu's arm, tilted her head to look at Xiaoxiao, with a look of pride in her eyes. Teacher Yu, if you lose, you have to accept the punishment. After all, there is no order without rules. You said so. Xiaoxiao clenched her teeth, glanced at Wen Yang with an unfriendly look, and then looked away from her. She never made enemies with anyone, but at this moment, she felt annoyed no matter how she looked at Wen Yang. Is it because she is too close to Song Yu? Why did Song Yu allow her to hold his arm like this? Could it be that he also has feelings for Wen Yang? Thinking of this, Xiaoxiao couldn't help but look up at Song Yu. Seeing that his expression was a little awkward and the arm that was held moved from time to time, Xiaoxiao understood what was going on. She knew that Song Yu was a polite and gentlemanly man, and that he was broadcasting live at the moment. In order not to embarrass Wen Yang, she cooperated with all her actions. After figuring it all out, Xiaoxiao felt a little better. But facing this punishment, she was still unwilling. In order to catch up with Song Yu as quickly as possible, the high heels she wore rubbed her heels so hard that they hurt. She was standing here now, her legs were trembling slightly, not to mention she had to jump into the iron ring on one foot. Xiaoxiao took a difficult step forward, her legs went weak and she almost fell, but Watansong supported her in time. Do both of you have to do this punishment? The director nodded. Watansong glanced at Xiaoxiao in his arms and hesitated slightly. I'm sorry. Before Xiaoxiao could react to what Watansong meant, she was picked up by him. Watansong held Xiaoxiao in her arms like a princess with one hand, and with the other hand she held the iron ring handed to her by the director. She stood on one foot and passed through the iron ring through her and Xiaoxiao's bodies. Is this done? Xiaoxiao hugged his neck with both hands, looking at the profile so close to her, her face slightly blushing. She realized that she was being held by Watansong in an intimate posture. She subconsciously looked at Song Yu and saw that his face looked a little ugly and he was struggling to get down. Watansong immediately put her down carefully and pulled a chair over to the side. You sit here. He took out a band-aid from his pocket, knelt on one knee, gently lifted up Xiaoxiao's ankle, and put the band-aid on her heel which had been rubbed red and worn. Don't run in high heels. Ask your agent to get you a pair of sneakers so you can move around more easily. Watansong's series of actions had already made the girls in the live broadcast room scream wildly. Oh my god! Isn't the one-handed princess broadcast too manly? I'm really moved. How come he looks so weak and frail, but his actions are so manly? And he was so attentive that he even noticed that my sister's heel was broken and put on a band-aid. No. Reason won't let me knock them. But there's such a strong atmosphere between them, it's just natural. The people present in the live broadcast room were completely unaware of the shouting coming from there. Xiaoxiao looked down at Watansong who was kneeling on one knee in front of her, and was stunned. She knew he was always careful and considerate. But this time, she had a different understanding and feeling towards him. Chapter 20 Love Overcomes All Difficulties. Xiaoxiao, why are you injured? Song Yu's face was filled with worry. Do you need to find a doctor to see you? Xiaoxiao turned her head, met his worried expression, smiled and shook her head. I'm fine, my high heels just rubbed my heels, it won't affect the recording of the show. Xiaoxiao endured the pain in her heel and stood up. Director, let's continue. Many netizens left their sympathy comments on the barrage. And among all these heartbreaking contents, there is a different voice. Am I the only one who thinks Song Yu is fake? You still need to go to the hospital for such a small matter. Are you trying to gain recognition? But his words fell on deaf ears. Even if someone found out, they would be scolded and no one would care. The warmth of Xiaoxiao's ankle still remained on Watansong's fingertips as he rubbed. She is such a pain-averse person, so delicate, but she could endure the pain of bleeding just to continue recording with Song Yu. Love can really overcome all difficulties. Watansong smiled self-deprecatingly, stood up and put away the expression on his face, and stood beside Xiaoxiao with an expressionless face, as if nothing had happened. Song Yu's gaze stayed on Xiaoxiao's ankle for a few seconds, and he looked at her with a smile. I know our Xiaoxiao is the best. She is such a strong little girl. Xiaoxiao smiled embarrassedly. It's just a minor injury, not worth worrying about. Wen Yang couldn't bear to see the interaction between the two, so she took the initiative to step forward and directly took Song Yu's arm. Teacher Song, don't forget that I am your partner today. Song Yu looked at Wen Yang beside him lovingly and rubbed her head gently. Of course I remember. The two of them returned to their original positions, talking and laughing. Wen Yang, out of the camera's reach, looked at Xiaoxiao with a slightly raised corner of her mouth, as if declaring her sovereignty. Xiaoxiao's face gradually darkened, her hands clenched unconsciously, she could no longer hear anyone talking, and her eyes were fixed on Wen Yang and Song Yu. This woman is really annoying. Watansong stood in front of her, looking at the camera in front of him, trying his best to capture Xiaoxiao's expression. He coughed lightly in displeasure. The cameraman laughed dryly and stood still. Xiaoxiao came back to her senses and looked at Watansong who was standing in front of her, feeling extremely angry. Why are you blocking my camera? Watansong was stunned. Looking at her obviously angry face, he realized that she was taking her anger out on him and smiled helplessly. Sorry, I didn't know I was blocking your camera. The netizens in the live broadcast room were already dissatisfied after seeing this scene. This guy is just trying to make himself known. He has blocked the actress's camera several times. I heard that it was his sister who supported him before. How come he has no gratitude at all? Is he a toad who wants to eat the swan's flesh and deliberately repays kindness with enmity? While netizens were speculating, they also dug up Watansong's personal information. This time, they actually found some clues. I was thinking this guy looked familiar from the beginning. Turns out he's the stalker fan who was on the hot search list before. Oh my god. This guy is really shameless. Our sister is kind-hearted and supports him, but he actually has bad intentions. Our sister is so smart that she must have realized his intentions, but she was too embarrassed to confront him because we were filming. Hwatansong didn't know that people on the internet had already scolded him harshly. He came to this show just to serve as a foil. No matter what misunderstanding Xiaoxiao had about him, he didn't care. As long as he finishes recording this program, he can not only get living expenses, but also completely end his relationship with Xiaoxiao. The director was completely unaware of the bloody conflict between them. He was extremely happy when he saw the cursing on the internet, which made the ratings of his show soar. Next, we will have a big test of our tacit understanding. Those present listen to the director explaining the rules of the game. One person is blindfolded, and the other is in charge. The first person to reach the destination will win the game. Similarly, the last person to arrive at the destination will be punished. Xiaoxiao rubbed her hands excitedly. I like playing this game. She looked at her CP Zhujiao who was standing beside her and said, "Can you give me the command?" Zhujiao lowered his head slightly and looked at the excited Xiaoxiao in front of him and smiled knowingly. "Yes, if you'd like to believe me." Xiaoxiao waved her hand nonchalantly. "It's okay, the most important thing is to participate." Zhujiao didn't say much, he was just a small-time actor outside the 18th line. It was only after his agent made repeated requests that he was able to appear on this show. He went to great lengths to come to this show simply because there are movie queens and movie kings in this show. Even if he just shows up, it can greatly enhance his career. He just listened to all the arrangements made by the program team and played the games in a conventional manner. He did not really want to find true love from this program. After all, in the big melting pot of the entertainment industry, we have seen too many dirty things, and there are very few people who can keep their original intentions. However, the little girl in front of me seems to have not been polluted yet. Or maybe she was just pretending in front of the camera. No matter which one it is, Zhujiao is not that interested. While Xiaoxiao was discussing with Zhujiao, Wen Yang had a sad face and was almost leaning on Song Yu. "Teacher Song, I am not good at either of these two things. What should I do? Are we going to lose? Oh, I'm so afraid of being punished, Hilda." Wen Yang's affected behavior caused the people present to look at her with more or less a hint of contempt. Even the netizens in the live broadcast room were complaining that they could no longer bear to watch it and asked the program team to kick this person out of the show as soon as possible. Song Yu still had a smile on his face, and patted Wen Yang's back gently. "It's okay, it's just a game. We just need to enjoy the game and don't need to care about winning or losing." Xiaoxiao looked at Song Yu's gentle appearance and felt almost jealous. It wasn't like this at the beginning of the show, so why did they change so much in the second game? Xiaoxiao recalled everything that had happened before, and finally set her sights on Watansong. It was because of what he had just done to her that our Song must have been angry, and that was why he was arguing with a woman like Wen Yang. Xiaoxiao became more and more certain of her thoughts, and even looked at Watansong with disgust. She crossed her arms and looked at Watansong in front of her coldly. "I won't make this game, you have to complete it yourself." Watansong looked embarrassed. "This requires the cooperation of two people. I can't do it alone." Chapter 21. I didn't mean it. Xiaoxiao was in an extremely bad mood and had no patience at all. She looked at Watansong who was in trouble in front of her, and said in an extremely dissatisfied tone, "Why don't you just remember the route and go through it blindfolded?" Xiaoxiao simply pulled over a chair and sat down again. It was obvious that they were giving up and were unwilling to cooperate with the action. Watansong was not determined to go with her, but looked at the route and covered his eyes with a cloth. There was darkness before his eyes, and he reached out his hand and felt around in the air. Song Yu, who was not far from him, glanced at Wen Yang beside him. Wen Yang immediately understood the meaning of Song Yu's eyes, and she spoke in a coquettish voice. Teacher Song, let me switch seats with you. The clothes I'm wearing today might be exposed if they fall. Song Yu smiled politely. Okay, I should be the one blindfolding you. Song Yu stood in a blindfolded position and glanced at Watansong, who was standing there waiting for the director to give orders. He looked at Xiaoxiao, who was sitting on a chair in the distance, with a hint of guilt in her eyes, and smiled at her. Xiaoxiao, take a good rest and watch us play the game. Xiaoxiao's mood improved a little. She nodded, her eyes fixed on Song Yu. Seeing him blindfolded, I couldn't help but worry about him. What's going on with Wen Yang? If Song is blindfolded, what if he falls down and gets his face scratched, which will affect his future schedule? How much of a delay would that be? The netizens in the live broadcast room couldn't sit still because of Yu Xiaoxiao's action. Although Yu Xiaoxiao is a movie queen, isn't she too big of a star? Indeed. Let an amateur do the show by himself, and everyone will cooperate. Even Mr. Song is willing to blindfold himself, but she won't give the orders. Although I like Xiaoxiao very much, her behavior is indeed a bit petty. You can't let an amateur suffer because of your own emotional problems, right? You Xiaoxiao's fans naturally can't stand anyone smearing their dear sister. Please make it clear, this amateur is a stalker who once tried to sneak into my sister's house. Sister must have known his identity, that's why she was so unfriendly to him. Look at the atmosphere between them. It was wrong from the beginning. I think something must have happened between them privately. That guy was either blocking the camera on purpose or intentionally making physical contact with my sister. Who knows what evil intentions he had in mind? If you ask me, my sister should have just refused directly and shouldn't have been so kind as to invite him to the show. My sister is just too kind. There was a lot of noise on the barrage, and when the director said, "Start," the three groups of guests present had already started to prepare. Only Watansong stood still after hearing the director's opening words. He listened attentively to the instructions of the person next to him. Although he remembered the route, he lost all sense of direction the moment his eyes were blindfolded. I can only listen to the noisy sounds around me to figure out where the road is. After roughly determining the route, Watansong carefully stepped forward, stretching his hands forward to block any obstacles as much as possible. When Yang watched Watansong finally set off, she shouted at the top of her lungs, "Actor Song, go to the left. A little further to the left." Song Yu followed Wen Yang's instructions and kept moving to the left. "Actor Song, stop. Stop." Song Yu stopped obediently and waited for Wen Yang's next instruction. "On your left, there's a balloon column, ram it." Song Yu nodded slightly, and used all his strength to slam to the side. With a loud thud, Watansong, who was still groping forward cautiously, was knocked to the ground by him. The burning pain in the palm of his hand made him gasp. He reached out to take off the blindfold, but he heard the director reminding him. "If you take off the bandage now, it means you have given up halfway. You will fail the mission and you must accept the punishment." The hand that had just touched the bandage hesitated slightly, but finally put it down. Her ankle was injured and she could no longer take the punishment with any effort. If he fails in his mission and she continues to refuse to cooperate, netizens will not be happy. We cannot let Yu Xiaoxiao be pushed to the forefront of public opinion again because of him. After trying to figure out everything, Watansong supported himself on the ground and climbed up with difficulty. I heard Song Yu's apologetic voice in my ear, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were next to me, and I couldn't see you." "It's okay." Watansong waved at the source of their voice and walked forward silently. Wen Yang stuck out her tongue playfully. She looked at the camera with an apologetic look on her face. "I'm so sorry, an amateur like him came at the wrong time. Based on my understanding of Mr. Song, this distance is just right for him to hit the balloon." In order to make the game more playable, the director team set up a lot of pillars and balloons on the road, as well as various obstacles under your feet. The purpose is to allow them to get rewards and various sweet tasks along the way. So it's not just about driving in a straight line to the end. If you want to get more points, it is best to burst the balloons along the way, get the notes, and complete the task. And what Wen Yang said was right, there was indeed a balloon column on Watansong's left-hand side. The pillar held an unexpected surprise, but unfortunately, when Song Yu bumped into it, Watansong stepped forward. Everything is so coincidental. Yu Xiaoxiao, who was sitting in a chair watching all this, frowned slightly. Why did she feel that Wen Yang did it on purpose? Is she hostile to Watansong? Or is it her own illusion? Even the netizens in the live broadcast room could see that Wen Yang clearly did it on purpose. As an amateur, Watansong has no fans, and even though he knows that Wen Yang did it on purpose, no one speaks for him. Xiaoxiao originally thought that she had some grievances against Wen Yang, so she suspected that everything she did was ill-intentioned. But in the following journey, she was certain that Wen Yang was deliberately making Watansong look bad. She repeatedly directed Song Yu to bump into Watansong, causing Watansong, who could originally walk in a straight line and reach the finish line safely, to bump into things and fall several times along the way. The clothes on his body were also torn and torn. Game over. As the director finished speaking, Song Yu immediately took off the bandage on his eyes and came to Watansong's side with an apologetic look on his face. "I'm sorry, are you okay?" He looked at Watansong's elbows, wrists, palms, and knees, all of which were cut, and his face showed even more apology. "I'm sorry, I used too much force every time. I didn't know you were with me." He looked at Wen Yang at the starting point helplessly, but couldn't bear to blame her, so his gaze fell back on Watansong. "Do you want to go to the hospital? I see you fell a lot, do you have any broken bones?" Watansong pressed his face together, looked down at his disheveled self, then looked up at Xiaoxiao who was not far away. Chapter 22 I Must Be Heartbroken. Watansong did not see any sign of concern on her face. Her eyes were all on Song Yu. He fell like this just to play this game, and she couldn't bear to give him even a glance. Watansong lowered his eyes, laughed silently to himself, waved at Song Yu, and quietly returned to his original position. Xiaoxiao stood up and walked forward. Just as she was about to say something, she saw Watansong leave her silently. What does he mean? Are you blaming her in your heart? What does this have to do with her? He insisted on participating in the game. Xiaoxiao, feeling angry, wanted to turn around and question him. Just as I was about to turn around, someone grabbed my wrist. "Xiaoxiao, are you here to care about me?" Xiaoxiao came back to her senses and noticed that Song Yu had a slight scratch on the palm of his hand, and she felt distressed. "I really don't know how Wen Yang is directing. How long will it take for your hand to heal?" Song Yu smiled gently. "It's okay, it's just a little scratch, I can just use alcohol to disinfect it when I get home." He put his hand on Xiaoxiao's shoulder and said, "It's a good thing you didn't participate in this game, Xiaoxiao. If you fell like this, I would be heartbroken." Xiaoxiao felt so sweet in her heart that she completely forgot about Watansong, who was even more seriously injured than Song Yu. The director chuckled and came in front of the group of people. "In the fiercely contested game just now, let us congratulate Teacher Song for winning the first place in this game." Several people present applauded and looked at Song Yu with envy. Song Yu smiled modestly, stretched out his arm to hug Wen Yang who was standing beside him, and generously showed it to everyone. This is all due to Wen Yang's good command. Xiaoxiao felt uncomfortable watching the two of them being so intimate. She and Song Yu were not yet that close. The couple who wins first place in this game will have a bye in the next round and can have a rest and a romantic afternoon tea. Xia Qianqian clicked her tongue twice and looked at Song Yu and his partner with envy. Zhu Zhao noticed her envious look and whispered an apology. "It's my poor balance that prevented me from winning you first place." Xia Qianqian turned her head and looked at Zhu Zhao who was sincerely apologizing to her, and burst out laughing. "It's just a game, why are you taking it so seriously? Although I envy them for having afternoon tea, the most important thing is to participate, so I am still happy to play games." She patted Zhu Zhao's shoulder heavily. "Young man, don't be too serious and too competitive." Zhu Zhao was stunned for a moment, then laughed out loud. The little actions of the two people in the corner made those who were supporting their couple feel like it was the new year. "Oh, so sweet. Lengmo versus Little Sun is my favorite. I used to think Zhu Zhao was emotionless and too serious, but now I think he is the best skincare product. Who understands? I really like men like Zhu Zhao. He is serious and responsible in his work, and he tries his best to protect girls when playing games. How come I haven't met a man like him?" The director looked at Watansong, who was in last place, and felt sorry for this amateur. With humanitarianism in mind, he asked with concern, "Mr. Hua, do you want to go to the hospital or bandage the wound on your hand?" Xiaoxiao turned her head and looked at the wound that was almost scabbed over, wondering if the director was making a big deal out of nothing. "No need." Watansong refused. The director just asked casually and didn't really intend to send him to the hospital and delay the recording of the show. In that case, the person who comes last will be punished by our show. Watansong sighed silently. What is coming has finally come. He felt a little sorry for Xiaoxiao, thinking that he had not performed well and made her be punished along with him. What is the punishment? The director chuckled and shifted his gaze to Xiaoxiao. Noticing her sullen face, he immediately put away the smile on his face. How could he almost forget that Xiaoxiao was not someone who could be easily served? In the entertainment industry, he is well known for his bad temper and cannot tolerate any grievance. He has punished them time and again. Can the show continue to be recorded? But the director thought again, it was them who got last place in the game, so it couldn't be his fault, right? The original plan was for them to run a lap on 3 legs to entertain everyone. But seeing the current situation, he decisively changed his words and said, Teacher Yu was injured and did not participate in the last round, so the punishment will be completed by you alone. Watansong breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, she was not implicated. If the couple had not done the punishment together, there would be nothing interesting to watch. The director casually asked Watansong to do a few push-ups, which was considered a perfunctory way of dealing with this round of punishment. As the winners of the previous round of the game, Song Yu and Wen Yang lay comfortably on lounge chairs under a parasol, with various snacks and fruits placed in front of them. Wen Yang looked proudly at the 3 couples standing under the scorching sun and waved at them with a smile. Don't be too envious of me. Try to win this round of the game and enjoy the service of the winner. The director did not let them stay in the sun for too long and immediately asked the staff to open the parasols to block the sun for them. I don't know whether it was intentional or unintentional, but the 2 parasols were placed together but they failed to block Watansong. He didn't care and watched the director's next announcement. He couldn't lose this game again and couldn't embarrass Xiaoxiao again. The director asked the staff to bring chairs and motioned for them to sit down. This round of the game is another test of our tacit understanding. The director showed the cards in his hand to everyone one by one. What I have in my hand is the recording of your personal questions before the show starts. As long as your CP can answer these questions correctly, they will win this round of the game. The director paused here and looked at everyone with a mysterious smile. Attention! The couple that wins this round of the game can change their partners in the next round. As soon as the director said this, everyone present became alert and looked at the couple next to them. The day is almost over. Wouldn't it be a bad idea to suddenly change the CP? When Xiaoxiao heard the director's words, her eyes suddenly lit up. Can I change the CP? Doesn't this mean that as long as she wins this round of the game, she can move our Song to her side? Xiaoxiao's gaze was fixed on Song Yu, who was having fun on the side. She watched him and Wen Yang talking and laughing about something, which hurt her eyes. She secretly swore in her heart that she must get first place in this round of the game. Watansong silently looked at Xiaoxiao, who had suddenly become energetic, and lowered his head to hide his inner sadness. She just wanted to win the game. Did she forget what the game was about? Chapter 23, Removing from the Heart. Watansong sat opposite Xiaoxiao. The director looked at the serious expressions of the two and couldn't help but be infected by their atmosphere. Please listen to the first question. Xiaoxiao clenched her fists tightly, her heart rising to her throat. She thought she knew Watansong well. Over the past 4 years, she had paid close attention to his every move and behavior. It was because of his face that she got to know him well. I just don't know how private the personal issues the director mentioned are. I don't know if she can answer it. Excuse me, what color are Watansong's underwear today? As soon as the director asked this question, everyone present took a deep breath and looked at the people around them. They thought about private issues, but they didn't expect it to be so private. Do they even have to talk about such private matters openly? The netizens in the live broadcast room were even more surprised by the director's big words. I thought they would ask how many relationships you've been in and when you had your first kiss, but I didn't expect it to be so explosive right away. Director, I love you so much. I'm looking forward to the questions that will come next. But let's be honest, can our sister answer it? She wants to win so badly, isn't this embarrassing for our sister? That's right, the director is such a jerk. In order to tie our sister to this stalker, he even asked such a disgusting question. Watansong's face froze and he blushed. Xiaoxiao didn't take this question seriously at all. Her mind was full of victory and being able to get Song Yu to her side. She recalled what she saw under the quilt when she woke Watansong up this morning. It's gray. The director knew that this question would not be difficult for Yu Xiaoxiao. Congratulations, Mr. Yu, for your correct answer. Please listen to the next question. Excuse me, when was the last time Tansong applauded for love? Xia Qianqian covered her mouth, closed her eyes tightly, and lowered her head in shame. Oh my, what's wrong with the director? How dare you ask such a question? Wen Yang, who was originally resting, suddenly became interested and stood up when she heard the director's question. Mr. Song, do you think Sister Xiaoxiao can answer this question? Song Yu blinked but didn't say anything. A look of displeasure flashed across his face. Tansong was completely stunned and looked at the director. He remembered that there was no such question during the interview, and he had never answered this question. Even if Yu Xiaoxiao answered casually, how could they get the correct answer? Tansong thought about what had happened during this period and suddenly thought of Yu Xiaoxiao's agent. He seemed to know the correct answer. He suddenly looked at Yu Xiaoxiao, and seeing her lips slightly open, he panicked and grabbed her hands to stop her. Xiaoxiao, how about we just pass this question? Yu Xiaoxiao frowned slightly. Why do we have to pass? I know. She thought about it carefully. The last time I applauded for love was probably a month ago. The netizens in the live broadcast room were already going crazy because of the director's question. But Yu Xiaoxiao actually answered it, and seeing the director's surprised expression, she knew the answer was correct, which shocked them even more. This thing is moving too fast. I don't understand some of it. My brain is broken. I admire the director for asking this question, but how did Yu Xiaoxiao know that he applauded for love a month ago? Oh my god. Is there really no relationship between the two of them? Are they really just sponsored poor students? Why do I feel like there's something unspeakable going on between them? Am I the only one who thinks that Yu Xiaoxiao answered even such a private question just to win, without considering Tansong's thoughts at all? Netizens were completely furious and kept posting comments, causing the live broadcast room to go black. The staff urgently repaired the network, allowing them to barely see the current live broadcast content clearly, but it was not very smooth. What kind of broken network is this? Can you guys help me? Why is the screen black at the critical moment? Director, can you please ask how Yu Xiaoxiao knew this? I'm so curious. The staff at the scene were also particularly curious about how Yu Xiaoxiao knew about it. When Yu Xiaoxiao gave this answer, everyone around her fell silent. Only then did she realize what she had asked and felt a little annoyed. Tansong looked ashen, and his eyes were filled with extreme disappointment for Yu Xiaoxiao. In order to change her partner and to be completely away from him, she could even answer such a question without giving him any face. But when he saw her answering the question impulsively and with some fear and hesitation, his heart was touched by her subtly. He sighed silently and sat up straight. He looked at the camera sheepishly. Fortunately, at the beginning of the game, I compared the answers with Yu Yinghu. Although I am embarrassed, my bet was right. Yu Xiaoxiao looked up at Tansong's playful and shy appearance, and her heart was slightly touched by her. She gave him a grateful look. But Tansong had already stood up and looked at the director. Now that these two powerful questions have been asked, the following questions are just child's play. There's no need to ask them again, right? For some reason, the director saw a hint of threat in Tansong's eyes and nodded involuntarily. When the director reacted, he was actually shocked by this little amateur and felt a little unhappy. Isn't he just an ordinary person with no identity background? What is he afraid of? But he had already agreed in front of netizens, so it would be a bad idea to continue to make things difficult for him. He placed his gaze on the two groups of people behind him, and Xia Qianqian immediately waved her hands in panic. We surrender. We do not accept this answer. She even poked Zhu Zhao next to her. Don't you agree? We are admitting defeat, right? Zhu Zhao nodded immediately. Yes, we admit defeat. With Xia Qianqian's act of giving up first, the other group of CP also decisively chose to give up. Yu Xiaoxiao deserves the first place. She held the identity card for the CP exchange and came to Song Yu shyly. A Song, are you willing to team up with me for the rest of the time? Song Yu nodded gently. I'm very happy to team up with Xiaoxiao. When Yang glared at Yu Xiaoxiao in annoyance and came to Tansong's side. You are so useless. If you can't even catch the woman you like, what else can you do? Tansong glanced at him coldly, too lazy to say anything more to her. In his eyes and heart, only Yu Xiaoxiao exists. As for other women, he doesn't care about them. However, from now on, he decided to completely remove Xiaoxiao from his heart. Although he was reluctant to give up the time he had held tightly in his hands for 4 years, he also didn't want to endure the pain again. Chapter 24. Pink bubbles popping up. The atmosphere at the scene was a little awkward. Xiaoxiao pretended not to hear anything. Her mind and eyes were filled with Song Yu beside her. She could finally play those little games with Song that warmed their relationship again. The director looked at the awkward atmosphere on the field and signaled to Xiaoxiao with a crazy look, asking her to liven up the scene. Among these 4 pairs of CP, she is the most lively and obedient one. Xiaoxiao received the director's instructions and her eyes lit up immediately. "Director, please start the next game quickly." "I can't wait." The director nodded with a smile. "Okay. Let's start the next game." The director returned to his cheerful nature, rubbing his palms and looking at the guests on the scene. "The next game will test the endurance and alcohol tolerance of our guests." The director clapped his hands, and the staff immediately brought a table over. There were quite a few wine glasses placed in front of their table. "In front of you, there is only strong liquor. Of course, friends in the live broadcast room, underage children, are not allowed to drink. The next round of the game is the Princess Carry sit-up. Whoever does the most in 1 minute will be the final winner." Xiaoxiao blushed slightly and secretly glanced at Song Yu beside her. Thinking about what was going to happen next, my face felt hot. Song Yu lowered his head slightly and gently pinched her fingers. "Xiaoxiao, do you believe I can succeed?" "Of course I believe you." Xiaoxiao pursed her lower lip and exhaled softly. Our song is the best." Wen Yang had an unhappy look on her face, and Watan Song beside her had the same expressionless face, but he was trying hard to restrain himself in his heart. He sank into despair, feeling pained but unable to let go. I knew in my heart that I had to let go completely and tried hard to ignore the various little interactions between the two of them. But the person was right in front of him, and the intimacy that others had not noticed was infinitely magnified in his eyes. Once upon a time, he had been so gentle. But none of this belongs to him. His shoulders were pushed twice. Watansong raised his head and saw Wen Yang's angry face. "I'm talking to you, can you hear me? I could have won first place, but it happened to you. Think about it, you were always last in the previous games. It would be unlucky for me to follow you." Watansong said nothing, but just lowered his head silently. Thinking about the next game, which would involve being carried like a princess, he felt a little reluctant. In his heart, he disliked the woman Wen Yang. It's not just her temper, but also because of the hostility she always exudes towards Xiaoxiao. The director didn't give them any chance to prepare. As soon as their whistle sounded, the timing started. The guests on the stage were in a panic. Xiaoxiao reacted immediately and put her arms around Song Yu's neck with a red face. "A song, the game has already begun." Song Yu smiled, clenched his fist like a gentleman, picked up Xiaoxiao, and began to squat. Up and down, the inevitable touch between the two, his breath spraying on her face. Xiaoxiao's face and neck were red, as if she couldn't breathe, and her body was extremely hot. Song Yu looked at Xiaoxiao with a gentle smile on his face, and couldn't help but said jokingly, "Our Xiaoxiao is blushing." These words made Xiaoxiao feel even more embarrassed. She buried her head in his neck and gently pounded his chest. "Song, please stop teasing me." The pink bubbles between the two of them were about to overflow. Netizens in the live broadcast room were beating their chests and stamping their feet. "So sweet. So sweet. Director, you are really good at inventing games. What's the difference between them being at this distance and being right in front of me? The two of them are moving up and down, and I feel like they are about to kiss. God damn it. For my sake, can't you just give me a kiss right there and then?" While Song Yu and Xiaoxiao were performing steadily, Watansong didn't move when the whistle blew, which made Wen Yang so angry that she punched him directly. "The game has already started, why don't you move?" Watansong glanced at him coldly. "The director of this game didn't say that we had to do it, it was just because of drinking." Wen Yang understood what he meant and stamped her feet in anger, glaring at the director with an unhappy look on her face. "Director, look at him. What kind of amateur are you looking for? He won't cooperate at all." The director looked helpless. It was all his fault that he had not made it clear before, allowing Watansong to exploit a loophole in the program. Now he had no choice. Wen Yang was so angry that she pulled a chair over and sat down, looking at the ambiguous atmosphere between Song Yu and Xiaoxiao, feeling extremely angry. She stared at Watansong's back, wishing he would die. There is no way to play games with actor Song, but I think he looks good and is somewhat similar to Song Yu, so I can create an ambiguous atmosphere and hype him up. Then I can hire some internet trolls to push him to their hot searches, which can also help him gain popularity. Who could have expected that he would not cooperate at all and act like a dead piece of wood? In contrast to their stiff atmosphere, Xia Qianqian and Zhu Zhao were much better. The light Xia Qianqian sat down and squatted easily in Zhu Zhao's arms without any effort. Xia Qianqian noticed the rhythm of Xiaoxiao CP in the distance, tilted her head slightly, and whispered in his ear. "Slow down, don't be so fast, we don't have to take first place." Zhu Zhao's body froze, and looking at the playful look in her eyes, he instantly understood what she meant. He slowly slowed down his movements, thinking that he was not the last one, and he missed his move and almost made Xia Qianqian fall. He panted heavily and looked at Xia Qianqian apologetically. "Qianqian, I'm sorry, I can't exercise." "It's okay." Xia Qianqian smiled brightly. "You are already very good. We can't compare with Mr. Song." The director blinked slightly, looked at Xia Qianqian twice more, and his gaze finally fell on Song Yu. The netizens in the live broadcast room couldn't figure out what was going on and were all shipping the couple. Originally Zhu Zhao could have done it, but what did you say, Qianqian, that made me so upset? It must be the sweet talk between a young couple. Can you play it out so we can listen to it? This pair is good, all of them are good. Except for the other two teams who are like dead wood. Apart from the uncooperative pair of Watansong and Wenyang, the amateur Shenqing from the other team and the little-known idol Meng Xiao failed to create any sparks at all. Shenqing always had an icy face in any game, as if someone owed him 8 million. Meng Xiao, who has all kinds of ways to seduce girls, was completely unable to do so. In the end, he was too lazy to work on the show and just completed the task in a perfunctory manner. In the end, Song Yu and Yu Xiaoxiao won the first place in the game without a doubt. The director blew their whistle, and the moment the game ended, the people present burst into warm applause. "Wow! Mr. Song is so amazing. Teacher Song is awesome. She always comes in first place." Chapter 25 Back-to-back hug. Song Yu wiped the sweat from his forehead gracefully and humbly half-bowed to the people present. No, you are the ones who are giving in to me." Others on the field echoed Song Yu's words, saying that he was very capable. Song Yu smiled and looked at the director. "Who's the last one?" "I think everyone should be evenly matched, right?" The director fixed his eyes on Watansong and said with a complaining tone, "The last one is our amateur guest Watansong." Wenyang stood aside, looked at him coldly and snorted, "You are the one who doesn't want to play games. I don't want to drink the wine for you." Watansong didn't say much. He walked silently to the table, picked up the glass of wine casually and drank it all. He hadn't eaten yet, but after drinking the strong liquor, he couldn't help but frown. Seeing that he was straightforward, the director didn't make things too difficult for him and started the next game. The next game is called Back-to-Back Hug. The director chuckled and stared at the two couples that the netizens at the scene valued the most. Both parties stand back to back, link their wrists, lift each other up, and one valid point is counted when the toes leave the ground. The director was overjoyed by the comments in the barrage. Without further ado, he blew the whistle. Yu Xiaoxiao stood behind Song Yu with her back to him and slowly backed away. When her shoulder touched his strong back, her face turned red again. She exhaled lightly and stretched out her hand. "A song, are you ready?" "It's done. Let me carry you first." Song Yu did not stop, half bent over, and slowly carried Yu Xiaoxiao on his back. He asked with concern, "Xiaoxiao, are you okay? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" With her whole body pressed against Song Yu's back, Yu Xiaoxiao's mind was blank, her heart was surging, and she kept taking deep breaths to ease her excitement. "Fortunately, I didn't feel too bad." Song Yu slowly put her down. "Now it's Xiaoxiao's turn to carry me." "Okay." Yu Xiaoxiao nodded, feeling a little worried. Then Song should be careful too. "I'm afraid he might fall down by accident." Song Yu smiled and squeezed his palm. "It's okay, I believe in Xiaoxiao's ability, our participation is important." Yu Xiaoxiao took a deep breath, made all the preparations, and tried her best to carry Song Yu on her back. But there is a huge difference in strength between men and women, and Song Yu is a head taller than her, so it was extremely difficult to carry him on her back. Song Yu felt extremely embarrassed, with a flash of dissatisfaction in his eyes and an awkward smile on his face. Xiaoxiao, are you too tired? How about just forget it? No. You Xiaoxiao's will to win suddenly emerged. I will definitely carry our Song on my back. She used all her strength. Song Yu concealed his dissatisfaction, raised his toes slightly, and quickly looked at the director. Director, do you think this is a success? How could the astute director not see that Song Yu was getting annoyed? He nodded immediately. Leave your toes off the ground, and you'll get 1 point for success. While Yu Xiaoxiao and Song Yu's team had accumulated 1 point, Xia Qianqian and Zhu Zhao had already given up. There is a huge difference in height between the two of them, and their physical strength is even worse. In order to prevent netizens from taking screenshots of those ugly photos, Xia Qianqian took the initiative to give up. The team of Huatansong and Wenyang hadn't even started yet. On the other hand, Shenqing and Meng Xiao are of similar height, and Shenqing is stronger than Meng Xiao, so it is not a problem for a man and a woman to carry each other on their backs. Compared with their team, the other teams looked like losers. Xia Qianqian coughed lightly and raised her foot to move forward, but was stopped by Zhu Zhao. 1 minute is almost up. Xia Qianqian was stunned and retracted her steps. The director blew their whistle at the same time. Congratulations to our amateur guest Shenqing and young idol Meng Xiao for winning this game. Song Yu smiled and clapped. You guys are really amazing. I didn't expect Miss Shen, who looks so inconspicuous, to have such great strength. Shenqing didn't say anything, but nodded slightly as a greeting. There was a hint of embarrassment on Song Yu's face. It seems that Miss Shen doesn't like to talk much. Yu Xiaoxiao had a trace of guilt on her face. I'm sorry, Song, I don't exercise well enough, so I couldn't carry you on my back. Song Yu smiled gently and rubbed her head. This has nothing to do with you, don't blame yourself. Seeing that Yu Xiaoxiao was about to say something, Song Yu spoke before her. If you really want to talk about it, it's my fault for not keeping in good shape. Xiaoxiao couldn't even carry me. Song Yu gently put his arm around Yu Xiaoxiao's shoulders, half tilted his head, and acted cute to make her laugh. Puff. It was rare to see Song Yu with such an expression, and Yu Xiaoxiao couldn't help laughing out loud. You're ruining your image, Tilder. Song Yu smiled and shook his head. It doesn't matter, as long as our Xiaoxiao is happy. I don't care if ugly photos are flying everywhere. Netizens are going crazy again. Oh. I won't tell you who is rolling around on the bed laughing. Song Yu is absolutely amazing. A perfect man. Can you two announce your relationship soon? It's so sweet. It made my diabetes come out. Oh my god. I really hit them. Song Yu, who used to care so much about his image, is willing to do something that would ruin his image just to please the actress. If they are not in true love, who is it? Huatansong stood silently by, watching the interaction between the two, clenching his fists. Wenyang, who had already noticed something was wrong with him, stood in front of him and lowered her voice and said, I was wondering why you were so uncooperative with the game. I thought you had a girlfriend outside the circle. Now it seems that you think she is the movie queen. Wenyang clicked her tongue twice, but I advise you, a toad, not to dream of eating swan meat. The best actress is naturally paired with the best actor. It is impossible for small minions like us to become a pair with them. Brother, I advise you to just go to bed. Wenyang patted Huatansong's shoulder mockingly, with obvious sarcasm in her eyes. Huatansong took 2 steps to the side and said, I know what my identity is, I don't need you to remind me. The director has announced the start of the next game. Wenyang, who had no intention of playing games, naturally didn't care what the director said. She avoided the camera and spoke in a very low voice. Actually, if you want to win the Best Actor award, there are ways to do it. Huatansong looked at her twice and motioned for her to continue. Wenyang came close to him and whispered in his ear, as long as you cooperate with me and follow my plan, the Best Actress title will be yours and the Best Actor title will be mine. Huatansong did not miss the cunning and sinister look in Wenyang's eyes and took 2 steps back. Anything obtained through despicable means will eventually backfire. Huatansong did not conceal his words, which frightened Wenyang so much that she quickly stepped forward and covered his microphone. Fortunately, the surroundings were in chaos and no one noticed what was happening here. I was so blind to count on you. Chapter 26. Are you jealous? In the game, Yu Xiaoxiao's eyes kept looking at Huatansong and Wenyang from time to time, which attracted Song Yu's attention. He looked back and asked, What's wrong, Xiaoxiao? It's okay. Yu Xiaoxiao retracted her gaze. I just think when Yang has a good relationship with him. Song Yu did not miss the annoyance in Yu Xiaoxiao's eyes. He smiled and said, after these few rounds of games, although they didn't do it, they chatted in the back, and their relationship naturally warmed up a lot. Yu Xiaoxiao could no longer hear what Song Yu said in his ear. All he could see was the interaction between Huatansong and Wen Yang. The gesture was so intimate that it seemed like we had met too late. Does he like this type? Xiaoxiao, are you jealous? Yu Xiaoxiao was stunned, blinked, and looked at Song Yu in confusion. Song Yu chuckled, I see you care so much about Mr. Hua, I thought he holds an important position in your heart. Song Yu unconsciously loosened his hand around Yu Xiaoxiao's waist and said, you don't have to care about my feelings. Just follow your heart. Yu Xiaoxiao was instantly flustered, and she subconsciously held Song Yu's hand. No, it's the most important thing in my heart. She looked at Song Yu without blinking, I don't take him to heart. In my heart, you are the most important person from beginning to end. Song Yu smiled dejectedly and sighed slightly, Xiaoxiao, I know that I left without saying goodbye and broke your heart, but this is not what I wanted, I know. Yu Xiaoxiao interrupted him, I understand your difficulties, so I am willing to wait for you. She smiled and said, fortunately, I waited for you. We still have a chance and time. Song Yu's eyes were red. He wiped his eyes gently with his back to the camera, thank you, Xiaoxiao, for waiting for me. Between us. Let's take it slow. Yu Xiaoxiao didn't want Song Yu to discuss the relationship issues between her and Song Yu in this public place. She has been waiting for Song Yu for so many years and is not in a hurry. Their game went smoothly, but because Huatansong did not cooperate, he lost every round and was punished. After drinking glass after glass of wine, his stomach began to ache slightly and an impatient look appeared on his face. When Yang immediately became angry, you didn't participate in every round of the game. Who are you showing your displeasure to now? She didn't care that the camera was filming her, and said with a distressed look, I really want to win the game, but I didn't find a suitable teammate. I'm sorry that my performance today disappointed everyone. Because of Huatansong's performance, netizens in the live broadcast room have long been dissatisfied with him. When Yang's words further aroused their anger. What's up with this amateur guest? He signed up to participate and now he's messing around. I thought he was quite handsome, so I thought he could act better and let me ship him as a couple, but he turned out to be so off-putting. Looking at his face that is similar to actor Song's, I guess he is jealous that I am not as capable as actor Song, so he deliberately puts on a stern face to get out. The director was too lenient with him. If he were someone in the entertainment industry, he would have been scolded a long time ago for his performance. Huatansong had no idea how harshly he was insulted by people online, and he just drank in silence. If you lose the game in the second round, you have to drink together. He drank the cup that Wen Yang had taken, and his stomach hurt even more. As the director announced the end of today's game, he finally covered his aching stomach and prepared to leave the crowd. He thought the show would be over and he could go back, but he didn't expect the director to call everyone together again. Everyone, we are going to stay here tonight and continue recording at this location tomorrow. The rooms have been arranged for everyone. Please take a short break. We will record a night show. Huatansong paused, half bent over weakly, and could hardly hold on any longer. He wanted to leave. He raised his head and looked at Zhu Mao through the people from the program crew. The other party gestured frantically, his eyes fixed on Yu Xiaoxiao. He thought about the contract he had signed with him and had to go back to the crowd. Xia Qianqian noticed that something was wrong with Huatansong, walked through the crowd to his side, and asked with concern, are you okay? Huatansong was a little surprised and shook his head. It's nothing. I just didn't eat and my stomach is bothering me. Xia Qianqian felt in her pocket and took out a chocolate. This is all I have in my pocket. Eat something first. If it really doesn't work, ask the director for help and go to the hospital. You can't just ignore stomach problems. Huatansong thanked her gratefully. Xia Qianqian smiled and waved her hand and returned to Zhu Zhao's side, looking at him twice more worriedly. Zhu Zhao pursed his lips, are you interested in him? Xia Qianqian came back to her senses, looked at Zhu Zhao's jealous expression, and suddenly laughed out loud. What are you talking about? I just felt like he was not feeling well, so I went to show some concern. As people who are recording the same show together, we can say that we are colleagues. Is there anything wrong with caring about our colleagues? It's okay. Zhu Jiao shook his head. I overthink it. We are indeed recording a show. Everyone took a short break, and the director turned on the camera again, looking at all the guests present with a smile. Everyone, in the game just now, those of you who won will be able to go out and enjoy the romantic candlelight dinner prepared for you by the program team. The eyes of several guests present suddenly lit up, looking forward to the romantic dinner tonight. But, the last person in the game, the loser, will have to fend for himself in their hut. Wen Yang was immediately dissatisfied, and looked at Watansong with increasingly displeasure. So what about the director, who can't cook? The director spread his hands and said, then it's up to you to figure it out. The director immediately sent the address to the other three guests, while Watansong and Wen Yang were left in the small house where they were staying for a short period of time. Wen Yang was so hungry that she opened the refrigerator, but there was nothing inside. She hated Watansong even more. After searching through all the boxes and cupboards, Wen Yang only found a pack of instant noodles, so she could only make do with it. But she had never cooked before and had no idea how to prepare instant noodles. She looked at Watansong, who was curled up on the sofa, motionless, as if dead, and walked up to him and threw the bag of instant noodles in her hand to him. You, go make me some instant noodles. The stomachache made Watansong sweat profusely. He sat up with difficulty and looked at the bag of instant noodles thrown on the ground. I feel a little uncomfortable. You can do it yourself. Wen Yang frowned, what are you doing? You didn't cooperate in the game, you didn't want to do it, and you didn't even think about cooking for me when you lost. You can't let me serve you anyway, can you? Watansong felt dizzy and could not hear clearly what Wen Yang was saying. He just felt dizzy and as if he was floating in the air. Chapter 27 Someone wants to bully me. Wen Yang was extremely unhappy. She looked at the cameras in the cabin, wondering whether they were on. Just in case, she could only suppress her anger, picked up the instant noodles on the ground, went back to the kitchen, and searched carefully. Just when he was at a loss, Song Yu, who had gone out, turned back. Wen Yang, what are you going to eat tonight? Wen Yang looked up suddenly, watching Song Yu striding towards her, as if she had seen a savior, and the grievances in her heart surged up. Teacher Song, aren't you going to have a romantic candlelight dinner? Yes, but I forgot to take something. I'll come back to get it. He noticed the instant noodles in Wen Yang's hand. Are you going to eat instant noodles tonight? This instant noodle is very high in calories for you models. Then what else can I do? Wen Yang looked depressed. This is the only thing we can eat in the whole hut. I can't go hungry, right? I'm already exhausted today, and I don't want to do anything that troublesome. Song Yu thought for a moment and said, come with me. I think there is some food in my room. I'll get it for you. Wen Yang's eyes suddenly lit up, and she followed Song Yu happily. Teacher Song, aren't you going to have dinner? Go. Wen Yang felt a little disappointed. But think about it, she is just a little model, how could she let Song Yu stand up Xiaoxiao to accompany her? But I can't let you go hungry. Wen Yang smiled again and followed Song Yu into his room. She looked at the room that was exactly like his, except for an open suitcase. Song Yu lowered his head, rummaged through the luggage, glanced at Wen Yang whose face was slightly blushing, and chuckled. Wen Yang, I actually admire you very much. You did a great job playing the game today. Wen Yang lowered her head, Teacher Song, you are praising me too much. If I were really good, I wouldn't just be the last one and have to eat instant noodles in a small room. Song Yu rummaged through the things in the suitcase, smiled and shook his head, that's not your fault. You can only blame yourself for not having a suitable teammate. But Song Yu paused, is he not very satisfied with you? Why does he refuse to cooperate with the work again and again? Wen Yang sighed deeply, who knows? He is unwilling to do every task, but I found that his eyes are always on Sister Xiaoxiao. Teacher Song, do you think the person he likes is Sister Xiaoxiao? While Wen Yang said this, she observed Song Yu's reaction. I saw him take out some sandwich bread from the suitcase and hand it to Wen Yang. I don't really know about this relationship thing. But I do have something that I need your help with. Are you willing to help me? Wen Yang was naturally happy to be associated with Song Yu. She nodded quickly, Teacher Song, what's the matter? I'm willing to help you no matter what. I'd be honored. Song Yu took 2 steps forward and whispered in her ear. Wen Yang's face changed, and she looked at Song Yu in front of her in shock, forgetting to speak for a moment. Why? You don't want to help me. Wen Yang blinked, and the hand holding the sandwich tightened again and again. Facing Song Yu's affectionate gaze, he smiled and patted her shoulder, his hand unconsciously touching her earlobe. Ian, if you are willing to help me with this, I will certainly benefit from you. I don't like to owe others anything. Wen Yang felt the warmth coming from her earlobe, her face turned red with embarrassment, and she nodded as if possessed. Song, I'm willing to help you with whatever you say. Song Yu smiled and gently stroked her cheek, then I'll leave this matter to Yang. I hope you can do it beautifully. He withdrew his hand and handed the bread to Wen Yang again. Eat more, you are too thin, girls look better when they are a little fatter. After leaving these words, he smiled, waved to Wen Yang, and left the room. Wen Yang looked down absent-mindedly at the bread in her arms, then ate it with a smile as she walked out of the house. The first thing she did was to look for Tansong and found that he was still lying on the sofa. She placed the bread in her hand on the table and walked to the sofa. How are you? Are you okay? Tansong's consciousness gradually became blurred. He wanted to say something, but his dry mouth and tongue made it impossible for him to utter a single sound. Master Wen directly grabbed his arm and said, I'll take you back to your room to rest. Tansong was in a semi-comatose state and had completely lost his ability to move. He allowed Wen Yang to pull him into the room and lie down. He looked at Wen Yang standing beside the bed, busy with something, but she had no strength left and gradually fell into a deep sleep. Song Yu, who went out for a romantic candlelight dinner, seemed a little absent-minded. Xiaoxiao noticed something was wrong with him and waved her hand in front of him. Yu, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? No. Song Yu shook his head, I'm just a little worried about them in the cabin. We came out to enjoy a nice dinner, and we don't know if they have eaten yet. I just went back to get something, and it seemed that Mr. Huo was feeling unwell. I don't know how he is doing. Xiaoxiao was stunned and paused. Are you concerned about him? Yes. Song Yu nodded. After all, he is with us. Now he is left alone in the cabin, unfamiliar with the place. I am a little worried that he will not be able to adapt. Song Yu didn't know what he was thinking of, and he stretched out his hand to greet the director team. Well, can we pack up dinner and share it with them? The other two groups of people who were eating stopped what they were doing because of Song Yu's words. The director looked at them. Song Yu had already spoken, so naturally the others did not dare to have too many opinions and just nodded. They immediately packed up the delicious French dinner and returned to the cabin. They came to the door of the cabin talking and laughing. Before they pushed the door open, they heard Wen Yang's scream coming from inside. Before the director could react, Song Yu strode into the room, only to see Wen Yang running down the stairs in tattered clothes. Song Yu's expression changed, and just as he was about to speak, Wen Yang threw herself into his arms. Teacher Song, save me, someone is bullying me. When Wen Yang said this, everyone in the audience changed their expressions and looked in the direction of her finger. At the corner of the second floor, Tansong had a pale face and was half bent over, holding the stair railing. His shirt was unbuttoned and the belt of his suit pants was half unfastened. He looked weakly at the group of people downstairs. Seeing his appearance, and thinking back to what Wen Yang said, everyone present looked at him with contempt. Tansong's voice was hoarse and he shook his head. It's not me, I didn't do it.